We are Legion.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to That Week's End. I'm here joined, as always, by my good buddy, new guy Ryan, and Chris, the comic vet. Before we dive into all this stuff for the week, I guess if you haven't already, guys, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you feel like you would enjoy some of this content. Hit the notification bell so you know when it's coming. Last time I checked, I'm around like 12 subs away from the 700 mark. So a celebration is imminent, which means giving back to the community. So if you want to be a part of that, feel free to hit that notification bell so you don't miss when the giveaway video gets posted and how to enter and what you could win. How's it going, everybody?
Awesome.
All good, man. All good.
It's been a pretty decent week for books and everything. Also been a pretty difficult week for me with books. Before I get into all that, I do want to talk about that a little bit and hopefully even get some feedback from the chat. So let's check out the chat real quick. Let's use it. We already got 50 people here. We have Nick's Kicks and Comments. What's going on? As always, we have Lucretius 1971, Wheelchair Superhero 87. How's it going, brother? The answer is no, Louis. We can here. So Legion. That's how Legion we are. Jason, how's it going? Another awesome episode of Rigged, the new game show that's firing off over on Slotted Up 503's channel. We have Dan Eckering here. How are you going? How are you doing? I've been watching Whack Comics so much. I want to say, how are you going? We have the panda himself, Adrian. What's going on? Ruben Guzman. How are you, brother? Your package is wrapped up tight and ready to ship Tuesday, Ruby. Chamorro Cinemas, how's it going, brother? No worries, Wheelchair Superhero 87. As always, with the format for this, we're going to kind of chit-chat for just a little bit on any kind of topics, stuff, news, whatever. I got something I want to get some feedback from the chat about as well in the beginning. Then we'll break down some comics. And at the end of the show, we'll discuss Falcon Winter Soldier, Invincible, and that way everyone can hang out and talk with us for as long as possible before you would want to dip out for spoilers. So all that'll be at the end. Unless you don't want books spoiled, then you're just in the wrong place because fandom happens here. And we're going crazy on some book reviews tonight. Captain Comics Ahoy. JQ, how are you doing? We've got E-Man himself up in here. What is up, brother? He had an awesome video drop with him and Gary B when they were chatting it up on new comic book day stuff. That was an awesome video. Mm-hmm. What is going on? Hello, Bart, my brother from across the pond. How are you? So that made it to the bottom of the chat for now. So I was talking with the vet about this right before you hopped on, Ryan, but I have been able to get my hands on the ENIAC books from Bad Ideas. I know that they have that special business model, but I had the third one ordered and I went in to order the fourth one and it is already sold out and it's listed on their website. And I found out that my order for the third one didn't even go through. So I'm pretty much assuming that it was on me. I might have just not completed my order all the way, or maybe they just had too many orders. I don't know what the case is, but either way, I only have 2 right now. And I wanted Tankers that Vendetti did, and they pre-sold issues 1 through 3, which I believe is the whole run, as a set. You can't buy the individual issues from them, and it's Golden Apple Comics that's pre-selling them. And from what I understood, that you couldn't pre-sell these books anyways. You couldn't sell them online until 30 days after shelf date. You can't sell them for more than cover price. In their defense, they are cover price, you know. But so that was the only online site that I found at all, and I've looked at a lot that has had them available. So today I actually had to apply to purchase these books from Bad Ideas website itself. I had to apply to purchase books. So what it was is I put my information in, and then they pull up the list of comic stores in my state that have the books, which are only 2, and they send an email. Yeah, so it's not looking good, man. So they're going to send them my information and my request, and it'll be up to the shop to get back with me if they think that they could fill my order or not. which is crappy because you have to pick one shop. So while I'm sitting around waiting on one shop to decide, who knows if I pick the right shop? The other shop could be receiving requests as well and get past their fulfillment point. But if anybody out there knows where you can acquire these books, and I don't mean eBay, I'm not paying over cover for them, reach out and let me know. But it's becoming frustrating. I was completely fine with it at first because I had an access point to them, but now that it looks like the legs have been pulled out under that, not a problem, Joe. Welcome to At Weeks In. I'm Mark. I'm joined as always by my good friend, new guy Ryan, and Chris the comic vet. Before we get into stuff, check this. No, I'm just kidding. we're just talking bad idea books and how they've become difficult for me to get a hold of, and I just had to apply to be a customer of theirs on their actual website, and it's absolutely at this point frustrating. What's going on, DJ Links? How is it going, Tyler? Glad you guys can make it. So if anyone out there
I haven't got
has
any of them, so
I'm super pumped for Tankers, man. That's the one that premise wise just has me excited to check it out.
I checked out ENIAC 1 online and flipped through it there, and I thought it was pure Cronenberg. I thought it was really cool to cover. Yeah, it looks like it's a pure 80s B movie horror poster there. Like, let's
I
give
know
it up
it
for
obviously doesn't look like it, but I think Videodrome, Cronenberg's Videodrome when I see that.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we're on the same page about that then. But yeah, I like let at some point the gimmick's gonna have to get tired, right? Like,
well, I'm cool with the gimmick as long as they're not. Where's the not first prints for all the other ones other than issue 1? Where's that? That started happening immediate with issue 1.
Yeah, like I said to you before we went live, the LCS that's closest to my home picked it up, and I've had multiple bad experiences there. Last time, basically being accused of being a flipper when I was going in picking up a #1 book along with an ASM, and I said, a certain bad word to them, and I swore I'd never go back. And of course, they're the ones that happen to get the bad idea books. So, do I feel I'm missing out? Kinda. Do I think it's a gimmick? Hell yeah. But again, I was
about to have to ask my main man, the one and only Martian Manhunter, what TFAW was, but it just clicked in my head, and I know what it is now. And I don't want to say what it is in case everyone else is going to go run and beat me to these books. But I think that's Things from Another World, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that would make sense.
But so I have a Canadian question. So is Golden Apple? Is it too much of a cliche to say? Is that in New York?
I swear to God, I thought it was in New York, so I ordered from them. They're in LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. All right. I get the golden part then. All right. But yeah. I don't know. I can remember when Valiant came hard and heavy in the early 90s, and everyone was gobbling them up for the collectability, and some of the stories were actually really good. But in the end, we all know that it's Valiant didn't necessarily have the staying power that some of the other independents did, and now they're almost a joke to some people because of the print runs. Now, I know Bad Idea doesn't have a massive print run, but are we looking at Valiant 2.0?
I don't know. I have no clue what we're looking at. And Things from Another World doesn't even have an image available for it, which is disheartening because the image is available on other websites.
I don't know. I love Valiant and their universe. So, to me, like, having all these guys that were around for the relaunch of Valiant doing another kind of superhero-ish, kind of connected universe kind of thing, to me is interesting because they have the experience to pull it off. I think at base level, my thought is they're trying to do something and it's all going wrong. Like, it's having the exact opposite effect of what they intend. But I think these guys have enough experience that I almost suspect, like, my thought would be, what if they are looking, I think we all at this point acknowledge there's going to be a market readjustment, a market correction. So to me, if I had their level of experience with the market, I would do this now and let it be this crazy where all this money and all this hype is being made. Because when the market corrects, they're going to be one of the first things people aren't chasing anymore because it's all brand new stuff, And so at that point, they can kind of take all that money and have it hoarded together. And I think after that, you'll see it kind of stabilize, and they'll be able to put out the right amount of print numbers, and it will have that effect. So that's the two ways I see it going. Either it's just not working the way they thought it would, or they're like some kind of geniuses that are playing the market correction game.
I'm just over here trying to order some books.
Now, what's the time frame on their individual releases? It's 30 days, right? And then if there's any copies left over, then the comic shop can jack up the price on the book and that, right? So the big fear, I guess, for the comic collector is how many books are sitting in the back waiting for the 30 days to expire before they get tossed out on the shelf or tossed it on eBay under the store
that's
name
what happened with number
for $250, $300. Yeah. Yeah. It's,
that's been a big question about it all.
Right. There is a significant size loophole there for retailers to try and get through. Yeah.
Yeah, because you think like everywhere people go, nobody has them. Well, if the market's going this crazy and people know that that's how it's being played, then of course these stores are going to keep these books, and they know because of all the chaos of the fandom and stuff, they can get away with being like, oh no, we didn't get any in this shipment, and like everybody will believe them.
Wait a minute. Before I order this, Martian Manhunter, is it Things from Another World, that website that it takes forever to ship stuff? Like, I mean, forever. Like, it's like the wish.com of comic book stuff. Because that's just clicking. No, I'm not like saying that in any type of way, like in the quality of their product. But isn't this like where a lot of the people that like order, like what is it that they fad chase? The big ones, the big hardbacks that are unnecessarily large and
omnibus.
That's the word.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of people order omnibuses to get them cheap, but it takes them like months to ship them. Isn't this that place?
I don't know. I've never.
If that's the case, I'd rather just hard pass from, just because this is just one book I'm trying to order. I don't know how, if I would want to try this on a new book or just.
So places.
So that's the thing, Jason. I had to apply through Bad Idea, and they send it out, and I had to pick one of two shops in my state that carry them, and then they're going to send an email with my request to them, because I requested one copy of all the books through the whole Bad Idea thing, because there's 4 ENIACs, 3 Tankers, there's 2 of some of the series, just one shot's included. It's not a lot of books when you look at everything Bad Idea's got slated right now, but that shop will be reaching out to me, so I guess it'll be coming through that shop. And I went to that shop's website, saw the name of the shop. Yeah, baby. I'm sorry.
Are there any household creator names affiliated with Bad Idea's upcoming titles?
Really, they're getting the 2 big ones done right out of the gate. Matt Kent will have one more title, and then Vendetti's the big name. Outside of that, they're not.
Okay.
But that shop, I went and checked both the shops in Georgia, and neither one of them have like a really self-contained website. It looks like they just filtered from Previews World onto their website, which makes me wonder if they're even. So I'm like, dude,
maybe check out their social media then, man. Maybe hit up their Facebook.
Yeah, I hate doing that, but I'm gonna have to.
I don't even have Facebook, but yeah.
I hear the Bad Idea comics ad on what's it called, on Off Panel, and he mentions like Margaret Bennett has a book. I'm like, ugh, that does sound like a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Martian Manhunter is the 1 week, 2 week thing.
I do not like her writing.
I'm gonna try it. I want to give it a shot, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. So it's ENIAC, Matt Kent, and Doug Braithwaite. Tankers by Robert Venditti and Juan Jose Ripe. Wellsville by Matt Kent and Adam Paulina. The Lot by Margaret Bennett and Renato Wedes. Sleigh Bells by Zeb Wells and David LaFuente.
Oh.
So that's all they have listed.
Is Sleigh Bells supposed to be that one shot? Does it say there, Ryan, that Sleigh Bells is supposed to be that one shot?
Yeah, it doesn't really say. Okay. Not on this main page, at least.
It is crazy, DJ Links.
Yeah. You apply for a license and a comic book. But yeah.
Sleigh Bells is in 20. It's available July 2021. This cover image is pretty sick. Every Christmas Eve, little Bobby Hamilton and his father rise at dawn for an early morning hunting trip. Wait. You've heard of black comedies. Well, this is the first one that's not just black, but red and green and covered in reams of extremely flammable tinsel that's already been banned in Canada.
Yeah.
Dude, did we just win one, Ryan? Did we just finally win one?
Woo! Chalk that one up to the United States, boys.
Yeah. We've been taking L's for weeks straight, and we just caught our first W against this guy.
Right?
I do have that illegal tinsel from Ohio,
Nice.
you know.
I mean, the cover
Right.
image is like Santa with machine guns and a bag of toys and some kids that he's shooting, and
I got
it's like in kind of a cartoony style. It's cool.
I gotta reach out to Slotted Up 503 for some of that hardcore Oregon tinsel that he's got out there that I need for my Christmas holidays. But no, tinsel's here. Just a heads up. I don't know where they came up with that one, but okay.
Jason, I'm going to do that, buddy. Dude, that just made me think, like, if I get approved from this one shop and I start being able to get them from Comic Adventures in Milwaukee, that's two copies. I wonder how many people have done underhanded crap like that intentionally, like just reached out to everybody to try to funnel in as many copies of the book that they can. Because there's people out there that want to sell them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it does become like a very competitive thing to chase after chase books. They're chase books, and I'll be honest with you guys, as frustrating it is to not be able to grab them, it's fun to sit here and hunt for books, But this is the first time I had to hunt for something that's new releases and pre-sales. Like, how can I get in on pre-sales? Like, this is different than trying to catch a limited cover or something, a retailer variant. But there it is, Ryan. First one of the night.
I've been holding off.
He's impressed your bed is always made. It really says a lot.
What
Pocan. He was beat as a child.
I was gonna say what breaks my heart is how dark it is back there. It's
I don't have the.
Chip says in Chicago.
I didn't turn on the studio lighting for the bed. My bad. Comic Cade in the house.
What is up, Cade?
And
congratulations
to Steve for his big win tonight on Rigged.
No.
Oh yeah,
that was
it was a big one. It was a close one.
That was a slobber knocker right to the end. A sudden death right to the end. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that Joker number 2, 1 in 50 definitely did go crazy this week. That was not too big of a surprise that it did, but it was I didn't really hear too much about the 1 in 50 beforehand. A lot of times you hear people already looking and chasing them. I didn't really hear too many people going after it until like the day before. But I was able to get the cover A, the cover B, the 1 in 25.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That wasn't a Jenny Frison. That was a Federici, was it?
Dude, the 1 in 50. I don't know. It looks like a panel out of the inside of the book. It's like
the black, the white cover with the penciling.
No, that's for Riccardo Federici, but that's the 1 in 25. The 1 in 50 is just a panel from the inside of the book of Vengeance putting on the mask.
Okay.
So. Are you saying, Martian Manhunter, are you saying here that basically the system has become, we'll just run a list of everybody that wants to order a copy, and every, say, 10,000 people will just change the cover? Like, how is that not a messed up system? They're limiting print runs. They're not printing how many are ordered. They're going to just like say, once we hit 10,000, we're just going to do a different cover and call it a fourth printing. I mean, that means books could just like run forever. If you limit then they'll be like, well, what if there's only 8,000? Then what if there's only 5,000? And then it's like, well, 10th printing of Berserker. You're like, what?
Mine will be here in hand tomorrow, Bart. So I bought a book in a Blue Label 9.8 from Frankie's because it was just so dirt cheap. It was a Mighty Morphin #1 John Jang variant. And they're not getting them back from CGC as one submission. I don't know if they had to break up their submission when they were sending them in or whatnot, but I have a buddy who got his back like 3 weeks ago now, and there was nothing else about any more coming back. And then I got shipping confirmation last week. So I think mine's supposed to be here tomorrow. So we'll see. My mail is questionable, and I don't really check up on it. I treat my mail like I treat my CGC submissions. I order something and forget about it, and when it gets here, it gets here. My mail's the worst.
So I wish I felt that way about mystery boxes, but I'm always checking where they are.
Yeah.
The worst thing they give me is a tracking number.
Obsessive enough to like just constantly refresh tracking.
Can someone read that to me? That's just a little small.
Are you going to
be able to get your books with Canada locking down?
It's
when with Mark. We were in sync.
The province, each province, i.e., kind of like states, they kind of govern themselves. But Ontario, where I am, is going into a deeper lockdown where they're prohibiting curbside pickups. So I did speak to the I did speak to the LCS that I deal with faithfully. He did mention that he's thinking about possibly just having his customers meet up with him in a park or a parking lot and just wire transferring the money, like email transferring whatever your dues are, and then just emailing him your want list specifically. So normally, like, I have my normal pull list, and then I go in and pick up odds and ends that I want. And but I guess that's going to be taken away from me, at least for the next 6 weeks, it seems, because people can't seem to get their heads out of their rear ends when it comes to the pandemic.
Bro, what you just told me is y'all are turning comic book.
Hold on.
Y'all are turning comic book purchasing into futuristic drug deals. You're talking parking lot, talking wire transfers.
Right. How cool does Canada sound now, baby?
Yeah, things are heating up in the Great White North.
Yeah, it's like a Ridley Scott movie about to go down, man.
Yeah, like a Tony Scott movie.
Yeah, Blade Runner, 2021 Canadian edition.
Yeah, any Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, my man.
But yeah, it's to answer Steve, it's going to be an interesting few weeks, that's for sure, when it comes to comic books. Yeah, Canada seems to be suffering from just an incredible third wave.
You can only buy books and Bitcoin in Ontario.
We can't afford Bitcoin here, man. It's a Canadian dollar.
What is going on? Legal burning, dude. This guy's art is outrageous. Mm-hmm. That homage to Ramita that he did with the Spider-Man No More cover, just good God. Yeah, he did an awesome interview on Southern Comic Geeks channel a while back, but it is amazing what he does with some fire and some paper. I'm still sitting here setting up this Things from Another World account. Y'all got to help carry this for a second. I've got to get this taken care of.
All right, so I'm gonna dive into the franchise right away.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's get into the franchise.
Don't start with the good one.
Oh, okay. Then I'll start with the other good one. Yes, Nonstop Spider-Man issue 2 was good. It was
up there?
Yeah, this is the Takeshi, I believe. It actually kind of delivered on the title. It was much better than issue number 1. But yeah, that's actually a fire cover. Yeah, I thought it was really enjoyable. For those that decided to hop off the train on Nonstop Spider-Man after issue number 1, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, well, the I never saw what kind of locomotive it was.
The train yet.
Yeah. But you're killing my whole gimmick, man.
I know, my bad.
Here I was praising your state for the way you eat, and you're shooting up my gimmick. But anyways, yeah, I picked this up essentially just as a cover buy, and decided, hey, why not? I spent $4 US on it, so went through it, and I thought it was really good. Now the art is an acquired taste, but Yeah, for those who picked it up, let me know what you thought. I thought it was good, but it had
Almost
nowhere
had a
to go but up.
seizure. I
Yeah.
almost had a seizure reading issue 1. And thank you, Martian Manhunter, because I'm done setting up things from another world, and I am adding Tankers 1, adding Tankers 2, both to my cart. Thank you so much. Man, that's awesome. I'm very excited. I'm happy again.
I'm a little jelly, I got to be honest.
Why is it asking me for all this other crap?
Uh-oh.
Okay, here we go. I got ENIAC. I got Tankers 2. Where's Tankers 1 go? Pre-order. Okay. Okay. This is such a.
I don't know.
I've
Here in
never looked
Texas,
this
I
much.
don't even think we're referring to them as waves anymore. Like it's, I don't know what wave we would be on at this point.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's free reign.
I watch a lot of sports highlights, and the stuff from Texas looks like it's just normal life. You know, stadiums are full, people having a good time.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Let's not go down that road. But
Yeah.
So Spider Shadow, I'm not going to go into it. I know that Mark wants to talk about it because I believe he enjoyed it. I picked
Oh
up
yeah,
the
well,
normal.
I think we
I was
all
gonna
read
say,
that one as well.
yeah, I picked up the normal cover, and I picked up this variant. And yeah, the thing is, there was 1,000,001 variants for this book. I
Did you
wasn't lucky.
see? Were you able
I
to see the 1 in 25 they did that Zdarsky himself did?
I did see a copy of it. It was out of my price point,
Yeah, I
but
wasn't about to pay more than $10 for it, but
yeah, it
it
was
was nice.
my LCS wanted $30 for it, and I was like, yeah, I'll come back in a week when you want 10. So yeah, but now I'm not going to be able to go back.
Maybe they'll only want 5
Yeah,
when you get back.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll roll him in that parking lot for his book.
Cash me outside, player.
But yeah, nonstop Spider-Man, I'm back on board.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Oh, I gotta go grab books out of my room. I just realized. No, right here. No, that's not all of them. I don't know what I did with some of this stuff. Been a busy weekend. So nonstop Spider-Man, cool. Glad you enjoyed it. That first one was so bad that I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
Add to cart.
Don't say. When you guys want to talk about the other franchise, I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. I thought it was good action. But yeah, like a little bit of Constantine thrown in there, a little Constantine flavor. I thought it was really good.
Scouts Honor number 4, the penultimate issue. Very good stuff. Very good. I don't know, I guess this is pretty spoilery, but essentially this is the post-apocalypse with a very twisted version of the Boy Scouts. And the main character here is named Kit. And what none of the Boy Scouts know is that Kit is a girl. And so that's kind of but Kit's like the best Boy Scout, like the best Ranger Scout. Like she's sick with it, you know? And so in this 4th issue, like things have been going crazy. Like her dad gets murdered and stuff. Like it's wild, you know? And so in this 4th issue, what was really cool here is it gets very comic booky, like panel, like background starts to kind of disappear. It's all these like very just like generic backgrounds and stuff as you like really get into the character's head. And so they kind of took her in the direction of like they really got into the head of like how the character's head, how she would have to live, and really stripped her down to nothing and rebuilt her as like this hero. Like now she understands that the only time she's comfortable is being a Ranger Scout. It doesn't really matter what her gender is. That has nothing to do with her as a Ranger Scout, you know? And so the only time she ever feels like herself is when she's being a Ranger Scout. Therefore, she knows she is meant to be this person, and she like rebuilds into this hero. So that going into the next one, you know, like this was kind of the last hurrah. So going into that final issue, we can have this big, awesome post-apocalyptic showdown, and she's about to wreck shop because she's more confident than ever. So I'm excited. It's a really good series, like super awesome.
Is that a Boom book?
That's Aftershock.
Okay.
Yeah, Aftershock, 4 of 5.
Ryan, did you read Spider Shadow?
I did not.
That's tragic. Do you plan on reading Spider Shadow? Like, is it on?
Not really. Not unless it turns out to be something that just nobody will shut up about.
Okay, well, let's start that, Chris.
All right, let's not shut up.
All right, hold on. Yeah, you introduce it. Let me go grab some books out of my room real fast.
All right, for those that don't know the premise of Spider Shadow, it's a what if, and it's done by Chip Zdarsky with interiors done by Pascal Ferry. It's basically takes up the story where it'd be ASM 297, 298, where Peter's starting to notice a difference in himself wearing the symbiote suit, and he's realizing that, you know, he may not be in full control anymore. And the book kind of picks up the point where Peter goes to meet up with Mr. Fantastic, and he's becoming a little bit of a jerk. He told the Human Torch to shut up. He's a little prior to going to the Fantastic Four, he stops a mugging of an old lady by two muggers, and he actually just unleashes hell on the muggers, just putting his fist through them. And, you know, normally he would just tie them up, but this time he just lays a pounding into them. And the backdrop to the whole thing is that he's irritated that he's constantly dealing with the Hobgoblin. And when he goes to deal with Mr. Fantastic to find out what the story is with the symbiote, Peter finds out that it's actually a living entity. And in issue 298, 299, Peter says he's got to get it off of him. And Mr. Fantastic tries and fails by getting the symbiote off of him. In Spider Shadow, the what if portion takes over there, and Peter actually has heartache for the symbiote and decides that because it's a living entity, he doesn't want to hurt it. And so he leaves the Fantastic Four and leaves the Baxter Building, and basically steps outside and has to deal with the Hobgoblin again, and breaks the unwritten code of unmasking someone in the general public, and lays a beating into the Hobgoblin again. And the Hobgoblin's pretty cheesed off about the whole thing, and realizes who Spider-Man is, and shows up to Aunt May's house when Peter's visiting for a coffee or a tea, and he's there telling Aunt May that he's not feeling like himself. He's there, and the only person that makes him feel like himself is visiting Aunt May, and he's there to decompress. And basically, the story writes itself from there. And the Hobgoblin shows up and blows the front off of Aunt May's house, and Peter quickly turns into Spider-Man with the symbiote suit and attacks the Hobgoblin, and turns around and realizes the house is on fire and Aunt May is in there burning alive. And Peter turns to go into the house, but because the symbiote is the symbiote and it's afraid of fire, it won't let him go into the house. And tragically, he loses Aunt May on the spot, so it seems. And he turns around to the Hobgoblin and literally puts his fist through his head, and that's how the story ends, with the death of the Hobgoblin.
Crushes his head.
Two eyes, or two thumbs into the eyes.
Yeah. Bow. Then webs him up. He's just sitting there draining all Ultra Mega style.
Yeah, he's bloodletting, that's for sure.
And not to mention, like, what was really cool, because, like, you know, seeing how the suit looks on Parker versus how it looks on Brock, you know, it represents completely different. I guess kind of plays into their personality and everything. Yeah. But we're seeing that Peter's personality is changing enough. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, he's kind of morphing the facial features of Venom, with the large smile, and the fangs aren't there for Peter, while his personality is changing. We still have the white eyelids on the black suit, but you have a little bit of what's forming is a tarantula's mouth. with two fangs up front and fangs below, whereas Venom is just a full-on smile. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's starting to
Yep.
get into his personality mode there. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, Pascal Ferry did a pretty good job with the interiors there, but it's like I mentioned to Mark before we went live here. This is the Spider-Man book that Spider-Man readers have been waiting for basically for a year, and it took Chip Zdarsky again to bring forward a good Spider-Man title, even though it's a what if and it's a play off of what Michelinie did, 30 plus years ago with ASM 296, 97, 98, 99, and going into 300. But it's an interesting avenue that they're taking the reader down here.
Absolutely. And, when Nonstop Spider-Man came out, I said, I'm going to try it because I'm itching to read a good Spider-Man book, and there's not one on the shelf. It's not mediocre. There's not you can find a mediocre book, if you just have to scratch that itch. But the last great Spider-Man story I read was Life Story from Zdarsky. So as soon as I saw this was coming, I got super hyped for it. He's writing good stuff everywhere right now with Marvel, DC, Image. But it was an absolute fun read. It had that unnerving feel to it. It's a cool time era in Peter's life, where he's on the outs with really both girlfriends he's got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And seeing Mary Jane reaching out to him, Aunt May's just broken and giving up on him because he's going to quit school and everything. It was just like the whole shadow, it was already a shadow before the symbiote even started going. And it was cool seeing it really play into how the whole voice in the back of your head, he's just assuming it's his voice in his head.
Yeah.
Until it separates, till he doesn't necessarily agree with it. The first time he wants to go see Reed Richards, he goes to put the web out, and you hear no, and there's no web that's coming out.
And he's falling. Yeah.
But it's awesome. It seems like the real deviation, the real what if moment that deviates from the original happens in the Baxter building. His response to Reed in this. That's where it all really goes south.
And him being so mouthy with the Human Torch because Johnny and Peter do have a friendship outside of being superheroes. But yeah, it was good. The one thing I also did like about it is if you notice the exteriors for things that are drawn there, it's set up like the late 80s and early 90s. It's not like we have modern vehicles on the road. It's like they're definitely taking it where the original story was going on and that same time frame in the late 80s, or at least when the book was published.
Yeah, they definitely did their due diligence, and you got to appreciate that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say both of y'all burned through a book that only y'all read. Have either of y'all read Maestro?
I have no idea what you're talking
Maestro,
about.
No, did not.
So this is number 4 of the Warren Pax miniseries. It is the second to last issue. You had the Pantheon kind of best him in the last issue, and they got him down just to Bruce, and they're going to bury him in liquid metal and let it harden. Of course, that doesn't work. He pops out, and it was all Dr. Doom that hired the Pantheon to try to take him out so he could take over Dystopia. And he gets to Dystopia thinking he's going to get on the throne, thinking that Hulk's all good and gone. And of course, he busts out just like that. He starts killing the Pantheon, and they basically fire a bunker buster at themselves because they kind of hold themselves guilty for things being the way that they are, and they kill themselves. And there's really not much story plot to this one other than he got away from the Pantheon, and now he's the next issue where it's going to be good. He's going to go back home and find Doom sitting in his chair, which that should be fun.
Yeah.
Absolute fun reads. So, Peter David does great.
Has Marvel solicited what they're doing with Maestro after Warren Pax now?
I'm sorry, who?
Exactly. So,
and there's the variant cover, which is glorious. I'm sorry for the glare.
Yeah.
No, they really didn't. They really didn't go out and start marketing Warren Pax until right before the final issue of just the regular series that they just did. They're really back to back. It's really just one ongoing story with just number deviation to them. But yeah, I definitely recommend it for anybody who enjoys the Incredible Hulk. It is a fun read. All right, what's one that we've all read, or at least two of us? I want to argue with some people.
Urban Legends,
okay,
Superman. Yeah, I think Urban Legends and Superman are the only 2 books I have that you read.
I've got both of those here. Did you read Batman Detective, Ryan?
No, I did not. Kind of the same as Life Story. If it turns
Okay.
out really well, I'll probably go back and read it, but I'm not interested in adding any more Batman right now.
I understand that completely. But we're definitely going to get into it here shortly. Or now. Y'all's call.
Go ahead.
What cover is that?
This is the A cover with Batman fighting Jason Todd, which is really all that I can speak positively about this book. I'm going to let Ryan go ahead and go on this book because he had a vastly different experience reading it than I did.
Okay.
Why does yours have less glare than mine?
Because we have different lights.
Okay,
No.
that makes sense. I thought it was on your book.
It's the magic of the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's a magical place. Boom.
All right, Ryan.
Okay, so this has 4 stories. 3 of those are continuing through from last time. So it starts out with Chip Zdarsky's Red Hood story, picks up pretty much exactly where it left off from the last one, with a slight perspective shift. And we get like way more into Jason Todd's head this time. And it's really cool to see what he's going through because and Batman shows up in this one, but like, and even though it's in continuity with all the like oversaturated Batman stuff, I actually liked him here because he shows up completely different from any other book, like any other place he's appearing right now. He shows up almost like definitely in like father figure or mentor mode. And Jason Todd has decided at the beginning of this series that he no longer needs a mentor. You know, that the only mentor he ever had really failed him, you know. So why does he need to listen to Bruce anymore? And so then he does something like reprehensible, and Batman ain't too happy that it's going on, and so he shows up like, I told you, no guns
What'd he do?
in killing in my city. And well, okay, so he killed this kid's father because the kid's mom overdosed. And so he was like, well, you know, I got to do something with this kid so he doesn't end up in the system. I'll take him to his dad. Well, he goes to take him to his dad and finds out his dad's like a henchman for a drug dealer, you know? And he's like, yeah, but like he's probably just like struggling. And so this is the only job he can get to make ends meet. But he'll be happy that I have his son, you know, to give back to him and stuff. So he goes and addresses the guy, and the dude's like, oh, I don't care about that kid anyway. Like, I'm glad that the mom died, and I wish he had died too, and all this stuff, you know? And Jason, like, comes unhinged and shoots him, like, point blank with rubber bullets, and dead. So that's what Batman's not very happy about. He shows up in this one, he's like, I told you, no guns, no murder in my city, blah, blah, blah. And they straight fight it out. But it's just really cool the way that Batman shows up. Like the entire fight and everything in that situation paints Batman as the bad guy. Like he definitely comes off as the bad guy in that scene. Like I say, like he shows up like in his mentor mode, but really he shows up kind of like a mob boss or something, like the Godfather. Like you're in my territory, you're gonna live by my rules. And Jason Todd's like, nah, dude, like I'm not into you anymore. You failed, so I'm gonna basically do what you did to me, but I'm gonna try to get it right this time. And so he kind of like takes this kid in to try and raise him, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of weird direction it was going in with him trying to balance that, the thought of how poorly that went for himself, but how he doesn't see a better option for this kid. And it kind of gives you a glimpse of like being in Batman's shoes, you know, when he came across a situation with Dick Grayson or with Jason
Yeah.
Todd, where like there are other options, but I'm involved. You know what I mean? He's like Jack in Titanic. He's like, I'm involved now. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, and
me.
it's also interspliced with a flashback of Jason Todd as a kid with his mom, and like she sends him to the store to get bread, and so that her drug dealer can come by and get her all high and stuff. And he ends up pushing the drug dealer off the stairs. So he murdered
presumably killing him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy died.
Yeah.
Like all you see him like falling, then you see a panel with like his shoe on the stairs, and then you see a panel of Jason Todd as a kid with like all blacked out face and everything, you know.
So how cool was Batman's introduction in this when you see the three hoods that are working for Mr. Freeze doing a grocery run. But then Batman stops him. He's like, "You're back to that Batman who's all in the shadows. They're completely afraid. They can't see him. They're just getting dropped left and right." That was really cool to see him in that aspect.
Yeah. I also thought that was an interesting thing because this seems to be in continuity with the main universe. And in that scene, he talks about how he thought they were working for the Scarecrow, but it seems like the Scarecrow doesn't have henchmen. He's not active, but Mr. Freeze is, you know. So what does that mean for Batman and well, like Batman 108 and 109 and stuff, you know, cuz they're building the Scarecrow there, so he's definitely in effect, but like what
Well,
about
that's why
Mr.
he
Freeze and
assumed.
what
That's
about
why
the
they
henchmen?
assumed. That's why they assumed he was working for the Scarecrow, but the Scarecrow's not playing on the same lines that he's normally been playing with. He's not getting henchmen and pulling antics. He's working with big corporation and government officials right now. So it's
Yeah.
just Batman's looking in the wrong place. That was kind of a cool little thing
Yeah,
too that
but
he
it
doesn't
also
even
kind
know
of
what it was.
inserts Mr. Freeze into the universe as well, you know.
Yeah, but Mr. Freeze, who's literally sitting at home just waiting to cook dinner.
Yeah.
Like no one's active right now. It's just the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just thought it was like an interesting little continuity thing. Then you get this Oracle story in this book, and it wasn't good. There's like one scene that I enjoyed where like she goes into a park and plays chess by herself, kind of. But other than that, it was like a really not interesting story. Um, and
Outsiders.
then oh yeah, after that is Outsiders. I'm really enjoying that one. I liked this one because you got like some really cool imagery with Katana. And like honestly, I really don't know much, if anything, about Katana. I read a little bit of her DC Universe thing. What was that called? The other history of the DC Universe.
Yeah,
I read like part of that. I want to get back to it and finish it. But
and those are big
um,
books.
yeah, I really like her character. I've always liked her character, and I think what I do know about her is really interesting. And I love the imagery they give us in the Outsider story in this one. It reminds me very much of like Daredevil or Elektra, you know, like I mean, they cut to her page and she's there with the katana, and it's just like ninja demons coming straight for her, just like from every angle, and she's just like slicing and dicing, you know. And so I think that's most of what carries that story for me is Katana, but I also like the stuff they introduced in this one with Jefferson, how like the lady's like concerned that he's going to replace her husband and everything, like they're getting too close and all that. So I'm interested to see how that plays out too, because I don't get any romance vibes from it, but like I also think those are two characters that compartmentalize very well and could very easily hide it from the readers, you know. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that part plays out.
Yeah, and we kind of get revealed what the outsider story is about in this one because it was kind of just they're in the middle of the thicket in the first issue, and you don't really know why Jefferson's imprisoned by this group of assassins. It seemed like or hitmen or whatever, and he's imprisoned inside Metamorpho. We found out, which was a cool little reveal. So Jefferson got him out of there, got Metamorpho out of there, and come to find out, it's her dead ex-husband's mother's kind of group of people, and she's lost. I don't even know how to say his name, Maceo or whatever. She lost
Matsuo?
his, yeah, Matsuo. That's his soul is contained inside of her sword. You know,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you get killed by her sword, your soul then goes into it. It's kept in there and trapped forever. So she she lost. She thinks she lost his soul, but her mother-in-law points out that maybe he left you, even in this state, he left you. So she's mad at Katana for running off her son, essentially, because the
Mm-hmm.
accused relationship building
Yeah.
between her and
Like that
Jefferson.
was a crazy insinuation that he didn't get murdered, he left. He knew that you were gonna break his heart, so he left.
Again, yeah, like I thought that was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
and it's cool as like I told you, as cool as the concept was, and this could have just been me reading, like trying to get this in at an inopportune time of day. But as cool as the concept was, I just wasn't really drawn into the story too much. But um,
I mean, this one definitely felt like a lot of exposition and setup for everything else, you know? Like it almost makes me wonder what was the point of that first one?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like none of that
setting the
because
stage. There's no
yeah, because
introduction to
like
the story. There's zero introduction. This was
yeah,
our
like in the
introduction.
first one, it just starts with like her and Jefferson in a boat, and then they're like he's locked up in a prison. You know, like I was like, I'm not even sure what's going on here, but it was fun. It looked cool. It moved well. But then this one, we really find out what this is all about, and it makes a lot more sense. So this really felt like the first issue, like set up for whatever this is going to turn into. But either way, I enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
liked it.
I enjoyed the premise. I don't think I ever got it. You know, you get into like a groove when you're reading a book. Like
Hmm.
I just never hit my groove when I was reading it. The whole all 3 out of 4 of the stories, because I did skip over the Oracle one. I told myself
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
wouldn't
skip
even
over it
bother
and
with it.
I'll read it at the end if I have time, and I did not have time because I had nothing else to do, and that was more important than reading the Oracle story in here.
Yeah,
But the
it's
final
so
story,
dumb.
I was excited for the final story because I enjoyed the Grifter one in issue 1 because you kind of get a glimpse into his past with his brothers and everything, and how they kind of got overwhelmed and looked like they got gunned down and had to be saved. And they look like they pretty much died. And you get a little bit more of that backstory in this one where he's waking up in the hospital where Bruce Wayne threw some money at this guy to have a kind of experimental life saving program put at him. And he finds out that there was only enough of this experimental tech to be put into one person. So his brother was deemed too far gone and it was given to Grifter. So, and it's Lucius Fox that presents all this information to him. And you just see him kind of once again make bad calls on bodyguarding, but self-correcting. You know, he accidentally he accidentally tried to good Samaritan Lucius Fox into an ambulance because there's only one on the scene to let him go to the hospital first, and it wasn't even real paramedics. It was the people trying to kidnap Lucius Fox, and he graciously let him on there. So within 2 panels, Grifter's already in front of the ambulance on a police motorcycle going through the windshield of the ambulance, and it was so
And
cool,
he just
man.
like slides right out of the like he goes
Through the
in the
window, through the
windshield,
back.
kills the guy that's driving it, goes into the back, kills the 2 guys that are back there, grabs Lucius off the gurney, and like slides right out the back doors of the
And
ambulance.
then says, "These are the
And he's
bad
just
guys,
like,
right?"
they were bad guys, right?
It was awesome. Cash is really cool character. Now I loved every minute of the Grifter story until at the end he's just sitting on a bench, kind of just like dealing with himself. Like he's having to do a lot of dealing with himself in this because everything he's been presented in since they brought him into Batman right before Future State, he's just a total failure of a person, not necessarily as a bodyguard or as Grifter, but he's just a crap person. And he's not a bad guy. He just can't do anything right. So he's sitting on a bench, just kind of brooding, and Toy Maker walks by and sits down next to him and starts talking to him, and Winslow knows who he is, and he knows who Winslow is. But then you see Red Hood up on a building across the street who's after Winslow. And he hops down there, and Grifter and Red Hood end up getting into an altercation, which quickly ends with Red Hood getting bested by Grifter and waking up with a note on his chest that said, "I borrowed $100 in your gun. I returned your gun. Signed XOXO Superman." And that was
No, that,
pretty. That
I
was
thought it
pretty
said that he
funny.
returned the $100.
I think it thought it said the gun because you have him laying there, the gun next to him, and Winslow dead with a bullet hole in him
Oh yeah,
next to
that's
the
right.
gun.
That's right.
So
Okay, yeah.
I enjoyed the Red Hood story a lot. The
I didn't
Outsider
understand
story,
like why that last bit was there. And honestly, like
just to
I
crap on the Red Hood. And that's what I was about to say. Like I'm getting sick of Red
but
Hood
it
just
doesn't
getting
make
crap.
any sense. They're making him so awesome in the first story in the book. Why do they have him cameoing at the end of a story at the end of an anthology? And it seems to be in continuity, but we have no reason to believe that like they never told us he was looking for the toy maker, so I don't understand like where that all came from. And then they dropped the Superman sticky note, and I was like, why would Superman be involved? That part really baffled me.
Grifter wrote the note.
Oh,
He just signed it Superman because he's
but how did he get out of the way?
he was the one that he was the one that put him in front of the train, and it leads us to think that either one of them got hit by the train. That would do it for both of them. But so I don't, because like
Yeah,
the whole fight ended with them rolling by some train tracks and Grifter pulling the
yeah,
whole little Daredevil Ben Affleck line to him, like you should have checked the train schedule. And
Oh
Jason
yeah.
looks to his
Yeah,
right
it
and
was pretty
sees the
bad.
train lighting. And he goes,
Well
"Oh
done.
no!"
Well done.
And
Well
and
done.
then it goes black, and then it fades into Jason sitting there with the note on him. Like we're gonna
Yeah,
power
it
the
was a
plot
very
this straight
muddled.
through.
Like, I don't really care that much about Grifter's origin and the stuff with his brother. Like, that part really didn't interest me much.
That's got me.
Yeah. See, I didn't really. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like, I don't know. I don't feel like I need an origin on Grifter. I think it's great just like knowing that he's kind of like a burnout nobody that's really good at with a certain set of skills, you know? You
Yeah,
assume he's like ex-military or something. Like, that's enough origin for me because to me, all of the best parts of Grifter are him being like a more on the rails version of Deadpool out trying to like be a bodyguard. You
yeah.
know, like that's my favorite that and like I like him like sitting on the bench and having to like deal with himself, you know, that stuff is cool. But then like that whole last part, it was such muddy storytelling. I couldn't
It's like
understand
we
why.
we
It
we have
wasn't
to
that I didn't
force a
understand what
fight
was happening. I didn't understand why it was happening. It made
because
no
they
sense.
just
It
had
was
to
like this
force a fight
weird.
into it.
Yeah, but he already had that story was so full of action with all the ambulance. I mean, it like starts with him getting hit by a truck. And they just like roll over, you know, and then like Lucius falls down. He's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I've had better days. Yes or no?"
Yeah, yes or no. Yeah.
He's like,
Don't come out
"Don't
until
come
I
out of
say
this
all clear.
vehicle until I say all clear."
And I like how
He
I did the
beats
little
up his
head
head at
flop
that
and duck.
guy. Yeah,
Bow.
and then he just
And then he
boop.
just puts one hand out. Bow. He's legit, man. He's really fun to
Yeah.
read. Which is unfortunate because I think I'm going to end up dropping this title just because the price tag of the title, because it's four not ongoing titles that they're packaging together for like a value price. You know what I mean? Like you're paying for like 2.5 books and getting four. And they're really not that they don't read too fast either. I mean, of course they're not
Oh
full
yeah.
count books, but they definitely are packed with a full amount of content in them. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
I don't
like
know
the
if I can just
quantity of content is very valuable, but
yes.
the quality can be very up and down at moments.
So I honestly don't know if I'm going to
But the
continue
Red
with
Hood
that.
story is straight crushing it.
It is, and I
Man,
love me some
Zdarsky's good
Jason
at that.
Todd, and that was the first thing you said to me when I messaged you. You go, somebody's a little touchy about Jason, and
Yeah,
I guess I can be, but yeah,
it just reminds me like I'm sure we'll get to that stuff eventually, but um, you know, like Bucky, like I think Winter Soldier is an awesome character, and he has these amazing action scenes and stuff. You know, it's very like kinetic and everything. But the character that they've presented in the MCU is always just like dark and brooding, and I wish they would lighten him up some. And it feels kind of like that's who they're turning Jason Todd into is like always dealing with this PTSD, always like brooding and dark and honestly kind of boring and flat whenever he's not in the action. But then like Jason Todd just goes off whenever you put him in the action. Like that fight with Batman was awesome. So like I wish they wouldn't just focus on like the negative things in these characters' lives because there's got to be something good, you know. I hope that's what this kid does for Red Hood is like kind of gives him a light of hope, but they just keep on making him like darker and more Batman like.
do you want to see him take the kid in, or do you want to see it get stopped?
Mm, I want to see the kid save Jason Todd. That's what I want. I don't know how that plays out. Maybe he does take him in. Maybe he doesn't take him in, and the kid like decides to do his own vigilante thing because he's inspired by the Red Hood, you know. And then Jason Todd has to step in and save him or something. But regardless, I hope that this kid does like give some hope to that character in some way.
Well, I do believe that I want to see that kid go away. I like to maybe see him in for like another issue or something, but
The kid's
I
not
don't.
going to make it.
Yeah,
Kid ain't going to make it, boys. Kid ain't
Not
going
hanging
to
out
make
with
it.
Jason Todd.
He ain't making it.
yeah.
Too
His
many
dad.
bullets.
He
Too
couldn't
many
even keep his
bullets.
dad around.
Too many bullets around Jason Todd, man. That kid ain't making nothing.
And that's what Grifter said to me. He said, I thought you bat people didn't like guns. He's like, I like them a lot. Now, real quick, while we have a few people in here, not as much as normal, but we still have a few people in here. I do want to say there's a second Instagram page associated with the channel now, and it's called LOC Pops Attic, which is Legion of Comics Pops Attic. And what that is is my pops, who has been collecting since 1963, is retired and decided to put some of his collection back into the wild. So we've helped him set up an Instagram account. It's linked in with mine, and he's going to start funneling in thousands of books priced to sell, price to move. He's not trying to get rich off of them. He's just trying to get them going. So I dropped the link to that in the chat if you guys want to hit that and follow that. Probably starting tomorrow, books are going to start going up on it, or as early as tomorrow. But my dad is going to be the one putting them on there, and he's getting in the hang of this Instagram thing, and it's not too complicated for him. But yeah, he wants to make sure he has it where it's not confusing for people or himself. So today we sat down and we looked at a couple of other pages, how people post stuff on there and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he's excited to do it. And yeah, Ryan will be right back, guys. So in the meantime, since Ryan did not read it, Chris, let's go down that Tom Taylor highway.
Batman Detective?
Yes.
Or what I like to call Batman people falling from heights as many times as humanly possible in one comic
there
book.
were a few of them in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there were lots of people falling from various heights.
There was. But look, when I was I read this book right before, on Thursday night before we went live on Steve's channel on Burke Family 54. We were backstage knocking out some books, and I read that. And that first fall scene, I told him that's how it's done. They just showed Firepower, how you're supposed to do falling out of an airplane, because that was horribly done in Firepower. But go ahead. What were your thoughts on this book other than free falling?
Lots of action. Lots of action. I thought it was an interesting segue into Old England, where we had Batman wearing Constantine's gloves that Constantine won in a card game that he cheated out of a demon. And when Batman was confronted with a ghost, yes, Batman confronted by a ghost in Old England.
Gentleman ghost, not just any ghost.
And he had a nice hat. And
what is that, a monocle?
And Batman took him down like it was nothing, with these fantastic, cool looking gauntlet gloves, and then like the storytelling by Tom Taylor while it's happening is John Constantine doesn't like the hand-to-hand combat stuff, so I gladly took the gloves off his hands. I thought this was excellent Batman story. To me it was really quickly paced. Again, the falling out of the hospital from 4 stories, falling out of an airplane from 40,000 feet. Pick your poison. But there was a lot of stuff going around. I did like the idea that they were playing that Tom Taylor's playing with a Bruce Wayne who seems to be dealing with depression. Him talking about having no family anymore. That his body is in constant pain, and that when he took the tumble out of the hospital from 4 stories up, that he separated his shoulder and cracked a rib, but he's still and then while he was still fighting off the fiends that he's dealing with, he spoke about their age and how much quicker and younger they were, and that he had to hit them as humanly hard as possible to take them down. I thought it was a real good introductory issue to a series that I was really on the fence about.
Yeah, I was on the fence as well. And the story for this, I did not have this on my pull list.
Yep.
When I did my new comic book day video, I did mention that I'm on the fence about it. So my LCS owner had one waiting for me in my box.
Yep.
And when I saw it, I kind of thumbed through it. And the only thing that I remembered, I thumbed through it, and all I remembered was an advertisement that was in it for Justice League Last Ride.
Yes, I was hoping we were going to talk about that too. Yeah,
we'll get to that then. Okay, since you noticed it too, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. So that caught all of my attention.
Right.
So I told my LCS owner, because I felt bad. I'm like, I think I'm going to pass on this one. If I hear gangbusters about it, I'll be sure to go back and pick it up. And I get to the shelf, and he had this beautiful 1 in 25. And I look at the cover, and I'm like, I don't even know who this chick is. Turns out she's the bad guy, which is awesome. Guy.
One of many bad guys dressed like that. Yeah.
So I made sure to grab this because these covers are gorgeous. The only other one that I had up until that point was the Joker one, because I did chase
Yes.
this one because I
Yep.
love me some Joker.
That's
But
Joker 1 that you have in your hand there, right?
Yeah. Don't think I didn't end up with that Joker 2 as well.
Very
But
nice. Now,
so
Mark, I was going to say, it's funny that you spoke about the ad that's in here. I found 3 very interesting ads. First was Justice League, like you just mentioned, and we'll get into that. The second was Mr. Miracle, which caught my eye.
Yeah,
the
I've
third
seen that
one I thought was just absolute silliness.
Please say Stargirl.
Was Stargirl issue
Yeah.
number 1, Spring Break. Like, can we, like, seriously, can we get away from this kind of silly stuff? Like, can we get away from this, like...
No, you're not going to get away from Stargirl. That's Jeff Johns' like pet project, and I'm going to be getting that. I enjoy Stargirl, man.
Really, you're going to get that? Like,
Yeah, I'm a JSA person, man. I
Okay.
enjoy Stargirl a lot. I really do.
I just thought, like, okay, if we're going to do Stargirl, okay, but do we have to call it
And it's just a
Spring
one
Break?
shot.
Yeah, but do we have to call it Spring Break? Anyways, let's move on.
If you would have read Infinite Frontier number 0 or number 0, which this is the second print spoiler cover with Darkseid. She has a little part in there where she's in college. So that's the whole Spring Break thing, because in that, like, there's something that goes down on campus. So I guess it's just a title to get her away from campus. And she's with Cyclone, which is cool because she's supposed to be in the Black Adam movie. So how are you going to do more stories with Cyclone? You're going to have to put it in something, a bigger property. Stargirl has a TV show. So I see the logic behind it. You know what I mean? But I do agree that is kind of such a low offbeat tier character to try to convince people to spend money on.
Right.
But that second print cover is sick with it.
Yeah, Darkseid is.
Yeah, and that's not just any Darkseid. That's untethered Darkseid. How we've always just seen his avatar before.
Yeah.
Now that they got the weird Omniverse thing, he's at full capacity, and he just completely kills the quintessence in this. Spectre, Highfather, Phantom Stranger just murders them all. But anyways, this I thought was really cool. That opening scene was awesome. How blasé it was. You're just on an airplane. You can almost hear the dinging of the stewardess lights. Ding, ding. And it's just she's making all the count and everything. And you're like, whatever. What's this going to do? And the stewardess blows the plane up and jumps. And the girl that they were targeting decides to jump too, because it's not just any girl. It's what is it? The Knight? Isn't that what she called herself? Yeah, the Knight.
The Knight.
Which
with a K, everybody.
Yeah, so she's somebody, and she jumps out and catches one of these 2 terrorists
and rides them down.
And rides them like a Shetland pony, like full Doctor Strangelove on them.
Yep.
And so she makes it to the ground.
Very nice. That's good.
Yeah, you're welcome. She makes it to the she makes it to the ground just to have this girl walk up to her, because she makes it to the ground and she's not in good condition. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where's your bed?
Is there a glitch in the Matrix?
Yeah.
Come back. Get correct. And come back.
The people don't want to see that, man.
But so she makes it to the ground, and this chick, like, what it is they have these all white cows, these back cows that they put on, and you don't know what their motivation is yet. You don't know what their target is. You just know that she walks up to this girl, basically puts a gun to her and fires it. And then it flips over to Bruce in his Batcave. And this is where, for me, it got really, really interesting, because Bruce goes on to dialogue, and it actually hit me so hard that I've read the entire dialogue to Ryan, because, like I said, I was reading this with other people live before we went on the show.
This is the Bruce that I like. The depressed, all out, I basically have no hope kind of Bruce. I like it.
Well, he came
Pure
to this
Miller.
amazing self-realization. Like, this is the moment that we never saw with the Miller Batman, because when we're introduced to the Miller Batman, he's already been down this road. So this is that aha moment he had that takes him to that dark night where he says, have I really made my city safe? No. Have I protected those that are closest to me? No. Is my family still alive? No. Not even Alfred. Is my house in order? No. Do I have any reason to be here? No. What have I really done? And he realizes all I've ever done is saved an individual person here and an individual person there. When someone had a gun to someone mugging them and I stopped that mugger, I saved that one person and whoever they might have affected. But I've done no real change. And he's just downtrodden, and he knows that he has this stuff going on in England that he can be doing. So he basically has to clear house, or he has to get out. He has to get away. It's too much. So I thought that was an awesome realization, because that's what Jason's trying to tell him all the time, that he just won't listen to. Like, what are you really doing?
I was gonna say, is that the trend right now? We're gonna harp on how Batman is ineffective.
Well, for if you have 37 weekly titles drop and you're not covering any ground, you're pretty ineffective.
True.
But so it was pretty cool him going there. So the first place he goes to is to the hospital. Am not sure how I feel right now. No bed. I got no funny things.
I told that you gotta keep the people happy here, man. This
I know, right?
You need
My
at least
channel's
have
sinking.
you need at least have a Polaroid of the bed
I
next to
know,
your
right?
face. But
I
when he
need
goes,
to get like a green screen.
Yeah.
Green screen my own bed.
what if we find out that that's what it's been the whole time, and this is the same room?
Right. It is a glitch
Matrix,
in the Matrix.
man. We're going full Matrix here.
So he goes to England to investigate the site of the plane going down. And when he gets there, he's confronted by Squire, which is the sidekick to Knight, the person who was presumably shot in the opening of the book. So
it was a very fun character.
Yeah, it's basically that person's Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets there, Gentleman Ghost pops up, and he looks not like his normal self. He's got like a large mouth, crazy teeth. He looks like a beastly ghost. And even Batman's like, dude, what's going on with you? And he points out that he's in the presence of 160 something dead souls, and he feeds on it. It's just got him to the power level. But like Chris mentioned, Batman basically knocks him out. He's wearing these gloves that he got from Constantine. Now there is a little bit of power of the plot here. Why did he know to wear those gloves there? Is that just something about his suit that's always about his suit? They really don't get into that, but the way he talked about it, it was like an add-on to his costume. So it was weird. And so then they go to the hospital, and you find out Knight didn't die by that gunshot wound, in the hospital wounded. So they're there to finish the job. When Batman's there talking to her, the hospital is getting raided by said terrorists, and then now you see more of them. Like it's like 4, isn't it? I think 4 or 5.
Right.
All
different
cowled
sizes.
Up, all white, guns coming in, just firing off, and Batman's kind of self-dialoguing, and he makes the comment that he's about to take these guys down and take them down hard because he has no sympathy for anybody who would come up in a hospital firing guns, especially since his parents were doctors. And he just bum rushes out the door, catches all of them that are already at the end of the hospital hallway, and takes them out the window. And he doesn't even try to cushion his fall, stop himself. He decides on the way down, because of how mad he is, that he's going to let them take his fall for him. And he just boom, just lands on. I thought that was really cool. It was a tough as nails issue. It really was. It goes a little weird with the Gentleman Ghost introduction, but it was fun. And it's what you would expect from Tom Taylor. He's known to take things and just push them and push them and push them. And if you're a Tom Taylor fan, it was right up his alley. If you aren't a Tom Taylor fan, this is what you should expect from Tom Taylor. Like, if this is your introduction to him, expect it to get. This is nonstop Batman, but good.
I almost felt when I was reading that scene where Batman takes the Marauders out the hospital window, just basically it's just he spears all of them and he's taking them all out of one lump sum. And what I enjoyed was he's thinking of his parents, and that one of his parents was an MD and his other parent was a field medic in the military. I kind of thought like this. I think this is personal for Tom Taylor here. There's something that must have happened somewhere along, I think, his life, where something happened at a hospital that he didn't like, and it's being incorporated here because he brought it in pretty early, and it's again like that seems to be the apex of the story for issue number 1 at least.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was again, I was on the fence, and my LCS, much like yourself, tossed it into my box, figuring I would like it because it was a different type of Batman story, and only the owner of the shop read it the day before because DC comes out Tuesdays, as we know, and I went in on Wednesday. And I'm glad I picked it up. I thought it was really good. I thought it's better than the JT stuff that we've been getting for the last 7 or 8 issues.
The low bar, but
I thought it was just a good action book.
There's some writers that it doesn't matter how well of a writer they are, they're just not going to connect very well with certain characters. You know what I mean? Like John Ridley has no business writing Superman. I'm beginning to think that Tynion just isn't the guy for Batman. That being said, he's done phenomenal with the Joker story, which isn't a Batman story. It's just a crime story, and that it feels like an independent comic crime story. You can change the characters around to just a gristle detective going after a serial killer, and it changes nothing about the context of the book.
I will say though, like in Joker #1, there was a lot more horror elements, whereas like even his Batman with Scarecrow in it doesn't have nearly as much horror to it. And I mean, we know that's what he's really good at. Look at Department of Truth and The Woods and Something Is Killing the Children.
I'm wondering why these aren't Black Label bannered, because the level of horror that's going into them are just actual macabre, just violence or just gore. And I do feel #2 made sure they checked off those boxes, because really the most memorable part of issue #1's gore factor was sitting in the bar talking with the other detective about the flashback of the serial killer who was eating that teenager's face and stuff. And in this, we open up with the Hewitt family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just chopping up bodies. And so I don't even know what's going on with those cannibals yet, but they made it to the cover, whoever they are.
Yeah, I mean, not to say there wasn't any horror in the second issue, but the first one definitely leaned into like more traditional Tynion, like I guess like dark horror kind of stuff,
Now, can someone explain to me what Half-Face Hitler was doing? Like who Half-Face Hitler even was?
In Joker?
Yeah, #2, the guy who's trying to come kick Joker out of the pool.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know any of those characters, so
I'd never seen him before.
Y'all can tell me.
Like almost like a liaison for the scum of the earth that decides to take up residence in any of these safe houses for scum of the earth, I guess. Worried about how Joker's treating the neighbors. You think you could go talk to the neighbors with your half face? I mean, look at your mustache. You can't go anywhere. Well, he is in South America, so I guess that is where Nazis go to not be
right to hide out.
Pointed out. Yeah, it's kind of
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean,
is that alleged anymore, or is that a thing?
Oh, yeah. I think in the '60s it was allegedly in the '60s, and now it's just and now it's just we all know the truth, man. We all know where they were. Yeah,
because they've deported like the last Nazis from there and stuff.
Right.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, one way or another, they're going to the Nürburgring.
I think we've even deported like old age Nazis
to South America.
No.
Back to the Hague. Back to the Hague. South America.
Like here in the States, just maybe like 20 years ago, I'm pretty sure they deported like a 90-year-old like ex-Nazi
senior officer
guard or whatever. Yeah, something like that. So like, we still deport them even if they're old. Who cares?
Yeah. No. War crime is war crime.
I will say on Joker #2, I'm not really that much into the ending. I'm not really a big fan. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not a big fan, because I do like stuff like Smoking Aces and Crossfire and all that. But like the idea that there's just like all these like bad guys descending upon one person or whatever, like that's not really my style. And so I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this series going forward, if that's what it's going to be, a lot of like them running around chasing the Joker while he's being chased by a bunch of people, I
wonder how much it's going, or how long it's going to last. Like if they have a clear issue number for the run in mind, because it's not listed on there, one of this or one of that, or what if they're just going to try to milk it as long as they can.
Yeah, because when it was kind of like a gritty detective story, whenever it reminded me more of like True Detective or something, that I was like, this should be like a 5-issue series or something, like 4 to 6 issues, tell the story, get out. But this second issue, the last half of it really turns it more into like a action chaos kind of situation. And so that I understand where it could be ongoing. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of a Guy Ritchie movie. I think I said that in a text somewhere, but yeah. And I like Guy Ritchie, but that's not really what I signed up for with Joker, not based on the entire first issue,
What did y'all think of the interaction with Gordon and Batman when Gordon calls Batman with his flashlight
Yeah.
signal and just how he just talks down to Batman. You're going to give me this. You're going to give me that. I'm going here. You're going to fund me for once. And Batman's like, I don't have the resources I used to. He's like, shut up. You have more money than the rest of us, even though you're broke. I expect access to the computer. And he's like, Oracle, are you hearing this? And Gordon just pulls up his coffee cup. Yeah, Barbara, you hearing this?
How long has he known, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really cool scene. I mean, that one and the scene right after that with Barbara herself, I think those were both just like really awesome, powerful scenes.
It was, and I mentioned this before, but the whole issue seemed like every character that we have that we're kind of following or that's included in this, it was all just a battle for power in this issue. Like Batman wanted to kind of call the shots on Jim, like, I'll let you do this, but you're going to do this my way. And Gordon's like, no, I'm not. And here's why. And then he meets up with Barbara for them to have the back and forth between the father and daughter. You're going to play it safe, Dad, blah, blah, blah. And no, he's not. And then Joker's just chilling out, killing neighbors and this and that. And half-faced Hitler comes in and says, you're going to do this. And Joker's like, no, I'm not. Let me tell you why. Like, it was just everybody
they straight exemplified the embodiment, like the physical embodiment of power with Bane's daughter there.
Oh, yeah. Right. Didn't talk about that. That's right. This is the first cameo appearance of Vengeance. Well, really, it's the first appearance, but they're going to go back and they're going to slim it down so they can chase another issue later. And
damn it.
Yeah. This is the first cameo of Vengeance, Bane's daughter. And she's on his little prison island, just got venomed out. She's all beefed up and she put on his mask. So she's coming for the Joker. Apparently,
the Court of Owls.
The cannibal family is, and we had the reveal that the woman that hired Gordon to go kill him, that gave him the no limit credit card and the funds and everything to do it, she's doing it to get her name cleared with the Court of Owls to be brought back into the fold. Why she's on the Owls, I don't know. But I even made the comment, it would be cool if we don't get Batman going down there to like save Gordon in a pinch, like when all these villains get there and converge and Gordon's in over his head. You know, how cool would it be if they send a Talon and we just leave Batman out of this? Like Gordon's literally being funded by the Court of Owls. So if they want him to succeed, they have their own means to send a Talon down there. That would be fire, dude.
Yep. That could be an interesting curveball that comes. But again,
and we know that Talon himself is brought back in Suicide Squad. So it would be pretty cool if they brought Talon into the mix. She's a hotter China meow. I'm assuming, Joe, you've watched all of China's homemade movies that are out there on the internet.
There's more than one?
Yes. And
I thought I was up on thought I was current.
And she did a superhero one too. But anyways, so do you guys feel with Joker 2 that Tynion is busying himself too much, like how he's done with the normal franchise, and where it's just too much piled into one, and it's just going to be a continuation of piling on and piling on and piling on, just compounding towards something that we never get to with the Joker? Because that's the one thing. I was going to say, it's the one thing that we talk about almost weekly, or every time that we talk about the Batman franchise title. It's like Ryan says the same thing, like it's just more hurrying up and nothing happens, or it just keeps setting up and setting up. Are we witnessing this now with the Joker?
I mean, I think it was Mark that I was just telling yesterday, like, it's weird that this is not a Black Label title. This is, I mean, at least as far as we know, this is in continuity and ongoing, which means this is the Joker from Joker War, and this is the Joker, and this is the Batman that's in Batman 106 and 107 and stuff, which means this story has effect and bearing on what's going on in all of the DC universe. If it was a Black Label, they could, and it's already like pretty messed up stuff, so it's not like it's a censorship issue, but if they put it on Black Label, it would be out of continuity, and more than likely it would also be like a limited series, so we would know we would get the story that's meant to be told and not just like continuously kicking the can. So I think that having an ongoing Joker series right now is a really weird play, if you ask me.
Joe.
think back for a minute, but
Jeez. Oh man. Thank
I
you,
hope
Joe.
Steven's still in here.
So yeah, overall, Joker 2, in my opinion, was a very good read. It's just because how interested I am in everything and how much potential it could go. And my biggest concern is they're going to ruin it by throwing Batman into it to be the savior of the story, and that's really how you ruin a story right now. But yeah, they need to let
I
Batman worry
agree.
about Gotham. That was the whole thing. He even made the comment in here that I can't go, Jim. I got so much going on here, and I'm broke. Well, let's hope they hold to that. I really, really hope they hold to
Yeah,
it.
I mean that's the one advantage to this being in continuity is at least he finally admitted somewhere that like he's involved in too many things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did we all read it?
Are we
I
going?
mean,
Is Ryan going to flex with us?
Boom!
Yeah.
Ryan wins.
Oh, you got the B. Very good.
Yeah, I was like, man, that is so fire. I've got to get that. And then the story was just as good. I was like, heck yeah. This is like a 10-star cover and a 10-star story as far as I'm concerned.
We'll get into it.
Well, for those that are continuing to say that Superman is boring or Superman that Superman is a bad character, blah blah blah. You don't know what you're talking about right now. The
He
last
just
3
needed
issues.
Jonathan back. He needed Jonathan back.
These last 3 issues, the Superman, the Action Comics, the last one that rolled out, and this one. We got ourselves a good Superman writer.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not and we talked about this. Yeah, New Guy definitely wins best cover for that. I'm just a sucker for cover A's because when they start changing the artists on the cover B's, it throws my mild OCD off. So when they do it on cover A's, it doesn't because the trade dress carries it. But I didn't hit 700 yet, I don't think, Cade. But
Bart said you did.
did
But I
I?
don't know. He
Anyway.
said, I'm off to bed. Nice chat. Up to 700. Fantastic.
Oh, wow. All right, bro. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Bart. It's like 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. where he is.
Wow.
It's my main man with pots and pans right there. New to Instagram as well. Let me point that out. So, yeah, Bart's on Instagram. Bart, if you're still there, Ryan up there is a Power Ranger fan as well. Go give him a follow and show him what you got rocking at that house, man. He'd appreciate seeing some of that stuff. Bart's collection of and it's well beyond Power Rangers, but his collection of statues, collectibles is second to none. It is insane. But yeah, we talked about it. The Superman story and the actual plot, the story plot is just a reason to get the actual story, which is the relationship being developed between Clark and Jonathan moving. The plot is the backdrop, just like how kind of the fighting and everything in the Teen Titans book for Future State. That was not the point of that story. The point of that story was the character relationships and the building that was happening in it to kind of drive what was coming. And that's all that's happening so far in Superman. The plot is irrelevant. So they're kind of just recycling just kind of stuff from Superman's past and everything. And Ryan said it best. Philip Kennedy Johnson understands a relationship between a father and a son like nobody's business.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking today, I was like, I kind of feel like I like this version of Superman a lot, you know? I feel like it almost the position he's in, you know, because like this one starts out with a reflective narration, right? And it almost seems like he's talking to us in the first 2 boxes, and then that third one, it makes it kind of scope it down to Jonathan himself. But it seems like he knows that he's going to die, or that he's going away at least, you know. And so I think like it kind of exemplifies the best aspects of Superman and what it is that actually makes him a Boy Scout, because now he's having to reflect on that and pass it on to somebody else, and it explain to Jonathan like how to be that Boy Scout. And I think by having Superman lay it out so in such plain language almost, you know, like I think it makes it connect so much. And I don't know. To me, like, this is the modern version of Superman. You know, we always talk about how, like, it's hard to write Superman in the modern era, but I think this is an excellent way to do it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And Joe points it out because Joe he's a collector of old books, and he's been reading comics for a while, as well as back issues from before his time either, because he's not that old. And he points out, like on their show, Blasting and Stashing on Friday nights at 10 p.m., he'll point out the stories, like even in Future State with Superman and Metropolis, and Jonathan Kent's story where they can door Metropolis and stuff. He was kind of calling back to the issues they kind of pull from, which is always really cool to go back there. And when he started doing that, it made me think to myself, why are they really spotlighting back issues and regurgitating them that specifically? And that's when it caught my attention that it's the whole, I wasn't paying attention to the proper part of the book when I was reading them. And that's when the Teen Titans one, I think that's why it hit me so hard, because I read that one and just kind of, it clicked for me that this action, the little plot of going to go check on this other alien race, and my old buddy from this past story, I know him from way back when. None of that was relevant at all. And just the little nuances between Clark and Jonathan, it just got me hooked, absolutely hooked. And I don't know if it would hit for people who don't have kids as much as it does for people with kids, if they would even catch it. But we've talked about it already. When they fly that cover that you have, Ryan, when they fly through that and they're going through space, and there's just that scene where Jonathan's flying and Clark is just looking at his son. They're not saying a word. Yeah, now look. Yep, there he is. He's just looking. Now go up.
I love the way that they draw both of these characters in this book, really, but especially Superman.
Where your left hand is, Chris. Look at that. No, that's your right hand.
That's my left. That's my right.
Okay, well, where your right, where your right hand is.
I love that first narration balloon. Whenever he says, "We can't hear each other, we can't speak or whatever," so I just hang back and watch you fly.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's it right there. That's the feels.
Yeah. And how many times did I popped onto Old Wolf's channel at like 1 a.m. Friday night, and we were talking about how Finn's about to be going to pre-K and stuff, and I'm not excited to have to go shopping, but I'm excited to take him down the aisle because he's so excited to get to see him look at all the book bags and pick his own out, just to be able to watch him. And that excitement, there's nothing like it. And they did that exact moment in this book where Superman's looking at Jonathan and he couldn't be more proud. Like, words cannot express it, so he just watches. That's all you can do in those moments. And it was a moment, man. It really was.
Yeah.
It was it was, for me, it was Clark realizing that Jonathan has come of age, and the and again, it's one of those moments where only for those of us that are fathers, that you kind of look at him and you're like, I don't have to worry about him as much as what I used to have to worry about him. He's going to be okay. And the pages I was holding there, the artist really captured that whole identity that Clark is looking at him like, all right, he's his own man here. Like,
yeah,
I don't have to worry about him. You don't have to worry about him the way that I had to.
And I was wondering where they were going to go.
But he's still dad.
Yeah, he's still dad.
Yeah,
I mentioned it
he's still dad. Yep.
On the Two Cool Guys, Two Hot Picks. I'm excited to see where they go with the story in this one.
Yeah.
And it's a misdirection, because even though the story arc changed, the story development is their relationship. And that has started from Superman 29, when he's telling Jonathan, stay back. He's about to die, and he still won't let Jonathan into the fight. Now, 3 issues forward, he has the realizations, like you just said, he's going to be okay. So that's the story that they're developing, is how Jonathan coming back. Jonathan's older. He has experience from being with the Legion of Superheroes. He's got this new confidence that Clark isn't used to, and they're developing that amazingly. And they're surprisingly keeping them off of Earth, which I'm happy about right now. They were always just in space for some reason or doing something where they're isolated. We have just them, and I think that's perfect to do for now.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I really liked about this issue is how it's like kind of a gumshoe detective story, Like, and I like the way that Clark is like walking this fine line because he's very suspicious, you know, and he doesn't want to trust these people, but he doesn't want to set a bad example for Jonathan either. Like he's trying to make sure that he shows him like if you're friendly with people and if you talk to them as people and other, you know, beings and you're respectful of people, you will get the truth, you know. And I feel like there's parts of it where Superman's kind of like, man, I could just like mess this whole planet up and find out what happened to my friend and all this stuff. But he's like, I got to show Jonathan how to be like a peacekeeper, you know. And it's just another aspect that I thought was really cool. And then the way that they kind of play like the detective game.
And that is exactly why John Ridley has no business writing Superman. And it's nothing against John Ridley. Again, I think he's a great writer. He's not the guy for Superman. And he killed me when he just character assassinates Clark. When he writes dialogue of inner dialogue for Clark, his true self, and you're telling me that he wants nothing more than to murder somebody. That's not Clark. That's not Superman. That's the polar opposite. You got to get off this title right now.
No, like, there's no way. There's no way. It's not there biologically from Jor-El, and it's definitely not there by the way that he was raised by Jonathan Martha Kent.
No,
it's just not there. So there's no way Clark or Cal, whatever you want to call him, would have a murderous thought just looking at someone the wrong way, even if he is having a bad day. Yeah,
this guy put me through hell, so I want nothing more for him to say the wrong thing so I can feel justified in murdering him. That's what I really want to do. Man, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. DC's found themselves a good writer here with Superman and the father-son arc where Jonathan is reaching that level of maturity where Clark can trust him with his powers. I just hope they don't pull him off of it. I hope we get a good 12, 20 issue arc or 20 issue run with Johnson.
Cade, Superman, Batman, they've had one issue drop since Infinite Frontier. The next issue should be like a week or two away. And the week that it came out, it was easily the read of the week. The Super Dad title, which is literally Batman, Superman, you know. That book exists, and it was the coolest formatted, coolest story told comic I've read in single issue format in years. It was fun from cover to cover. You would like it. It was something that was unique to this one issue, the way they did it. Look it up digitally or just kind of just research it. Don't go out and necessarily buy it or anything if if you're not into Batman, Superman stuff. But just look at how they actually formatted that book. It was a one of a kind. It was amazing.
Yeah, Cade, you would actually really like that one because it plays a lot on like the old school, like Golden Age Batman, Superman. Very like family friendly, very like kind of goofy and funny. But then but the way that the whole story is put together and like the way that the book is formatted is very unique and a really fun read. It was super interesting.
It was really cool.
All right, let's talk just a brief moment about that ad. Let's talk about Justice League and what do we know about it coming.
Give me 1 second.
Yep.
I want to point one thing out. Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's writing Superman.
Yep.
Writing this father-son dynamic amazingly. It's the same guy who's writing the new Alien title for Marvel, which I did not read, but I do know has this crazy same premise, this father-son thing. So maybe that's just his shtick. You know, who is it that does like the whole is it Jeff Lemire, who always has like the same family dynamic stuff in a lot of his independent titles, like the whole father-son thing, but it's more estranged.
Right. The young child that's not the cool kid at school, that's a little ostracized from his own friends and has a troubled relationship with one of his parental figures. Yeah, that's Jeff Lemire, 100%. Yep. Boom.
Are you laughing at the Canadian accent?
You know too much about these Canadians.
I haven't gone there at all today. It's you guys.
And if you guys haven't already, Comic Kate, who's in the chat, he has an awesome YouTube channel where he's got, this dude is so funny and so creative. He does amazing stuff, and it's a pretty new channel. Be sure to go check him out. Give him a subscribe. He does a lot of fun stuff over there.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about this ad because Ryan thought it was hilarious the first time he heard me say that. I flipped through this Batman book and all I remembered was an ad that I saw.
The Mr. Miracle looked pretty good too, but yeah.
So the ad that's got, what is up, Chris, first off from Cardboard Crazies, another person with an awesome channel out there. You guys should check him out. Amazing artist as well. All right. So inside of the DC books that came out this week,
Let's see if I can find it.
Chris is pulling it up. Meow.
Right, meow.
Right, meow.
Right, meow.
So what caught my attention was an ad for a 7-issue Justice League story called Last Ride. Now, I'm a Justice League hound. I love my teams. I'm a JSA guy real heavily. But we have the disbanded team must come together one last time. Can Batman and Superman bury the hatchet before the Cosmos something? Greatest villain buries them. So I'm wondering if it's going to be Darkseid, because in my mind, that's the Cosmos' greatest villain. And maybe this will be the story that spins out of Infinite Frontier issue 0, that we get Darkseid show up and make that big cameo. You know, maybe he's the inevitable ending to a summer event for next year. Who knows? But Chip Zdarsky is writing that title. Chip Zdarsky is doing a 7-issue Justice League title called Last Ride. So I'm wondering if it'll even be in continuity. I'm wondering if it'll just be a standalone. No matter what, I'm all in for that. I suggest anybody who, if you kind of like the Justice League, but the books don't really hit for you, this will be the one to hit, because I'm willing to just take it to the bank with Zdarsky. He does not miss.
And based on that, can you guys tell me what book that was and what the book was even about?
Which one?
Exactly.
I was just
literally
going
to
ask.
That whole thing was that it was an ad.
I was going to ask, has Zdarsky touched Superman, Batman before?
Not that I'm aware of. What is going on?
I was going to say, I didn't think so.
That's a very specific hello to you from Canada.
Yeah.
They have him ostracized like Napoleon on a little island. I forget the name of the island Travis lives on, but he's on a little island.
In Canada?
Tomorrow. Well, no, not in Canada. It's an island. If you put an island in Canada,
Canada has islands.
If you put an island on Canada, it's just a hill, isn't it? A plateau, something.
Canada has a couple islands that represent provinces. Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island are islands that are provinces. Yeah.
You should pitch that to DC. It sounds like exactly what they need right now. Something lighthearted to balance all the Batman.
I hope that is the case. Because, in Future State, all the Justice League, they kept talking about, like, the old Justice League like it was taboo, and this event that took them all out and everything, and we never actually saw it. So that would be awesome if this is that story.
Yeah, actually, that would make sense. Yeah,
that would be amazing, because that does make sense, because we're getting nothing but like stuff that's kind of bridges to Future State and everything.
Then they lose. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Or I don't know if lose is the word they.
The only disappointing thing there is that we're not going to get to see the new team.
Yeah, the new team was so cool. It was so cool, man. That was such a wild dynamic.
I want to see a Justice League book with that new team.
Thanks, man. I got a station as well. There you go. What? Wait, Ryan, you've been stationed. Hit him.
I have.
Station.
Station.
I love that. They got the coolest little thing going with that Bill and Ted stuff. I don't know what it was last week. I felt like every time like I was in a chat with them, they were all getting asked finally. People are like, okay, what's with the station? What is station? They just got asked all in the same week. It was awesome. But yeah, so that's really cool. There he is, blasting and stashing comics. What is going on?
The island he's on is now called Alcatraz.
Yeah. Pull this up real fast. So Superman, we just covered, talked about that Last Ride for a minute. I'm still curious if Joe's commented, if he's confirmed that that's the story for that. This is from the Future State. Teaching future generations comics. So I hope that is that is what that story is. I hope that they bring in Darkseid for it, because that tease at the end of Infinite Frontier issue 0, they've done nothing with about yet. And what are we, like 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in? after Future State now, and we still haven't seen him pop back up or mentioned or teased or anything.
Yeah,
that'd be very cool if they give it to the hands of Zdarsky to bring it along.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one other person that I think for DC. Well, when it comes to DC, I think Joshua Williamson should be handed the keys to the kingdom for a while. Just let him have free reign of building the universe. You know, not writing every title, but let him architect for give him 2 years to architect, please.
yeah. He is like their best writer on staff that's like so underutilized and underrecognized.
And they left him on the Flash for so damn long. They could have been utilizing
great
him.
things.
Yeah, he was doing such a good Flash.
I was going to say
run.
that's what I'm saying. Like they could have utilized him on so many other stories because they left him on the Flash for so long, and look what we got out of that chain. Yeah.
Then what we got is we got horrible villains in the TV show. Because they started pulling villains from his run almost instantly.
Yeah. It's a good Canadian show.
Is it Canadian?
It sure is. It sure is. Yeah.
That's like me saying every MCU movie is a good Georgia movie.
It sure is.
We just have like slack taxes, man.
They sure are, man. Yeah.
Mossy was fantastic. That's another person who's under, and I would say he's not talked about enough, but I do my due diligence with him because going in, what was it, issue 100 or no, from about issue 98 of Batman with Tynan's run, I was telling everybody just stop picking these books up. All you're buying is Batman. Why aren't you buying Batman and Detective? If you're going to just buy one, buy Detective, because Detective was on fire. Consistent, amazing reads. It was what Batman's supposed to be. It was fantastic.
Everything about Detective I thought was better than the franchise title. Yeah.
I'm not sure about Divergent, but they damn sure could have filmed Deliverance here.
I'm pretty sure Divergent was too. There's a ton of movies filmed there.
Yeah, Georgia, whenever you watch anything, pretty much, if you say for after the credits, you see the Georgia Peach roll up.
Yep.
We have it's just because the tax
break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Canada. Canada throws a lot of tax credits at them.
If DC would have filmed Swamp Thing here, we have swamps here, right here in Augusta. We even have swamps. But if they would have filmed Swamp Thing here, we'd probably have season 2 by now.
I thought they did film Swamp Thing there.
No, that was North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Side note about Canada. Here we go. While in the U.S. Army, I was stationed in Ottawa with training soldiers. What a good time. Everyone is so friendly. It was hard to tell if the ladies were flirting.
If it was hard to tell, they were flirting.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground.
Canadian subtlety is
there's no middle ground. You can't be a little bit pregnant here. It's either you are or you're not. So that's it. Yeah, you missed out if you didn't give yourself the opportunity. But yeah. Ottawa.
Do y'all have any other books? While we're talking about being pregnant, it just reminded me. Do y'all have any other books that y'all read you want to mention or talk about?
Being pregnant.
Yeah, I can segue anything.
I picked up Wonder Woman. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read through these. I'm just going to flash them a little bit. I know, Mark, that you were reading Kent Will's Iron Man, so I'm looking forward to see what you say. This one?
That Iron Man?
Yeah.
Is that hair? What is going on?
No, that's a reflection. That's Alex Ross being Alex Ross, and we're catching a reflection there. Yeah. I'll give you.
Okay, yeah, that looks a lot. Yeah, that makes more sense once I see it up close. I was like, is there hair coming out of the eye?
I'm 2 issues behind on that right now. So there's last month. Yeah, and there's this month. So we'll burn through a few of those at once. There's really not. They don't push through a lot of story, but we'll hit those next week.
Yeah, I picked up the finale for Prey. I haven't picked this up. I haven't been excited to read this arc as what I was with the Black Winter one. And I picked up the second printing of ASM. Proctor Valley Road, which I'm very excited to read, and Carmen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Boom.
Home. Who's the
Yeah.
publisher?
Image. Is that Canadian too or something?
Yes.
Founded by a Canadian, but yeah.
Yes. Doesn't
Founded by a Canadian, lots of Canadian creators, but yeah.
Yeah, so my thoughts on Home. For me, this was like, I don't know, it's good. Like, it's not bad. My issues with it are I'm not really into the dialogue that much because it's it's characters that only speak Spanish and they're crossing the border and then they're put in a detention center. And so they're surrounded by a lot of people who only speak English. And so the way that they handle the dialogue is it's pure translations. And if it's in Spanish, then it's in red. If it's in black, it's in English. And
That's weird.
Interesting.
yeah, but but the whole thing's written in English. So there's like no Latin flair in the dialogue or anything. Like the dialogue is so bland. I'm very disappointed in that aspect of it. Boom, based in Oregon. Ha.
We're gonna steal that one from you, Chris. We're taking
Whoa,
it.
whoa, 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 whoa! I
We
never
have an
said it was
ongoing thing
Canadian.
here.
I
Yeah.
said it was founded by
Founded.
a Canadian.
We have an unwritten tally going of Canada versus US.
The comic creator of all comic creators, Todd McFarlane. Anyway,
The Todd father himself.
right. If it wasn't for his Canadian attitude, we wouldn't have Image Comics.
Is Ryan frozen?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope,
there we
he's
go.
I unfroze, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing in this book that lends itself in any way to like any sort of like Hispanic culture or Latin American sensibilities is this bag of plantain chips. And they just call like the mom's like, "Do you want these plantain chips I have in my bag?" And then the kid's like, "No." And then on the next panel, he's like, "Actually, yeah, I'll take the plantain chips." And that's it.
That's all.
Is
So,
that
like,
racist?
that's
it just doesn't sound
I
cool,
looked up-
man.
Yeah, well,
just
the writer
doesn't
is
sound cool.
Julio Anta, and I had to
Okay.
look that up because I was like, this seems like a white person from like the Midwest wrote it or something,
Thought it was a pen
based on
name
what
or
they saw in the
something.
news headlines.
A pen name.
But yeah,
His real name is Ralph Franks.
so I didn't
George
care
White.
for that. The other
Yeah,
thing is,
George White.
it opens up. I'm just gonna show this part off a little bit.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so the way that the book opens is the mother and son are traveling from Guatemala to America. And so as they're doing it, there's like this narrative voiceover that is quite literally a previous president's speech about people that if they come here and they send their drug dealers and rapists and all that, that whole speech pretty much word for word.
Are they traveling in a caravan, Ryan, or are they traveling as a family?
Well, it's just the mother and the son, and they are in
Okay.
like a caravan. So yeah, you see them like
Okay.
crossing on trains and in trucks and
All
stuff.
of the
Okay.
above.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so whenever they arrive in the States, they're going to seek asylum. What you find out is that the lady's husband was murdered by the gangs in the neighborhood there in Guatemala, and then they want to kill the son. So that's why she left. She took the kid and they left and they fled. And so they're going to the United States because they have family in Houston. So they're going to do the same thing that family did. They're going to go there, seek asylum, then their family will come pick them up, take them back to Houston, help her get work, and they can get on their feet. But all of this narrative opening up, it's basically what it's setting the stage for is whenever they get there, they're put in the detention centers and separated from each other. And they don't understand because they didn't hear the news, like it all changed so rapidly that while they were traveling, this law changed. And so she's confused about that, right? Now, they have a white guard in here. Like he's like kind of like the warden, like the top dog. And he just has like a complete disdain for people in general, you know, which is very much like, we want you to hate these people, you know, that's how they present him. And I kind of understand that. I wish they had done a little bit to make him a little more human, but he speaks no English. So his whole thing is like, oh, I don't even know what she's saying. Why don't you help her? And like sends one of his lackeys over to like process her. And this guy speaks Spanish. So he kind of tells them, oh, yeah, we're going to take care of you and we're going to process you and stuff. Like, we're going to get you processed so you can get out of here. And then he's like, just follow me. And like, they walk through a door and he opens it and it's just like basically jail cells. And it's like the ice box. And he puts her in there and then like, it, I don't know. It's hard to explain without like getting into all of it. Basically, this guy is supposed to be empathetic in the sense that like, because he's Hispanic, even though he's here in the States, like he's a Mexican American. So he's supposed to empathize with them and kind of be like that bridge between. But instead, what ends up happening is he's always blindsiding them instead of explaining to her, like, yo, look, the law has changed and this is how things are going. I wish you hadn't come here, but now this is how it's going to go. He never does that. He's literally like, come on, I'm going to help you out. And then he opens the door and just kicks her into a jail cell. So I'm like, well, he's a piece of shit too. Like, there's nobody likable in this except for the mom and the son, you know? And I just don't really agree with writing a story where the characters are specifically designed to only present like one aspect of them, you know? They could have had this guy that speaks Spanish that's kind of supposed to be the empathizing character. This dude literally every time he talks to her, she's like, I don't understand what's going on. And he goes, haven't you seen the news? And it's like, no, she hadn't seen the news the last 3 times you asked her that, you idiot. And she told you the first time she hasn't seen the news because she's been walking from Guatemala for like 2 months now, and the law changed while she was walking. So every time he comes in and wastes time telling her, didn't you watch the news? He could have instead been explaining things to her and empathizing with her and being like, look, I'm sorry, I understand because I have family that comes from this situation too, but I just work here and this is the law here now. And, you know, like he could have become a human, but instead they try to keep it very flat and very like, you're supposed to hate these guys just because they're the guards and they're being mean. And I'm like, I know it's the first issue and there's more to build on, but why not humanize and ground all your characters in the first issue, you know? Especially if you're going to waste dialogue asking the same stupid question over and over again. Didn't you watch the news? No, she didn't.
Well, I hate that. I know you were excited for it. You expected it to go a smoother route than it did.
I will say I like the some of the art is like backgrounds and stuff is perfectly fine, but I really like the way the characters are illustrated. They have almost a Disney vibe to them, and it makes them very endearing. Like even the little like 4-page preview or whatever that I read, I automatically was like, man, I really like these 2 main characters. So it does have that going for it. The big twist at the end is that the little kid is developing powers of some sort. And so it seems like it's going in a kind of in like that superhero twist sort of thing. And so maybe it's trying to focus on like a heroes villains kind of thing, but I'm really into more like gray area stuff. And so it felt kind of flat with like hate these guys and like these guys. It's like, but it's not a bad book at all. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people thought it was the best book of the week. I still am going to stick around and see where it goes. But it's kind of like We Live, like issue 1 and 5 or something, you know, like I feel like We Live is a much better version of this.
Yeah, they touch on all that
in
a completely different way. They did it really smoothly.
Didn't you watch the news?
That was good timing.
So a couple more that I have. I still have these ENIAC books. And here at the beginning of the stream, I was able to order Tankers, so that's good news. Tankers is on the way. Thanks again to the one and only Martian Manhunter. Tankers 2 is pre-ordered, as well as ENIAC 4. Now I just have to track down ENIAC 3. It might get easier when it actually releases. We'll see. And then I missed this last week. I don't know how I didn't pick it up. I thought I'd added it to my pull box. I'd read number 1. This was fantastic. This was really, really fantastic. Crime Syndicate issue number 2. We have Ultraman and Superwoman going at it, which is Donna Troy in this. He goes. Did you read it, Ryan?
No.
Oh man, it was good. It was really good. You get Owlman kind of just like working on the solution to all these Staros and everything, and you get a little bit of his backstory, but it was really fun. Absolutely enjoyed it. And then, like I just showed you those Iron Man books, and then I picked up Rorschach issue number 7, which is easily cover of the week. That's a gorgeous cover.
That cover is so sick.
It is a gorgeous cover. But this is really cool. The detective is still just on the case, just slowly unwinding the mystery of this assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. And now we're getting down to like the craziness of these radicalized this girl is pretty much radicalizing everyone in her life to commit harm to other people, all on the basis that the squid monster's coming back, that he's like telepathically embedded himself into society, this and that. And this kind of touches on like white noise in this, so the electronic voice phenomenon, and how like she finds like these people that are just very susceptible to her BS, and they're sitting there just playing tapes over and over until they hear what they want to hear out of them, and they start acting on those impulses. And it's really I'm just really enjoying it. And that's issue 7 out of 12. So, Tom King, it's about to start just like really coming together like butt cheeks.
Check out Constructing Comics podcast. They do my favorite Tom King breakdowns. Like they cover all of his stuff, and best breakdowns I've heard in podcasting as far as Tom King content goes. So I really enjoyed their breakdown of Rorschach. What is that, number 7?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, really good stuff. Check them out.
Is it like I don't podcast? Is it like easy to find their conversation on that specifically, or do you have to like trudge through episode long things?
No, yeah. It's like all of their episodes are singularly focused. Like if it's a Tom King episode, that's all you're getting is like pretty much they start talking Tom King and go through it, and bearded comic bro. yeah, totally got it wrong. Anyway, yeah, the most recent episode, it just dropped like yesterday. So if you look up their podcast, the most recent issue will be the first one you see. It'll just be like Tom King, Rorschach, number 7 or whatever.
I think I might be cardboard crazy.
Yeah, your nickname is Cade.
Do I have a nickname? Yeah, your nickname is Cade, which
yeah, it's shorter than Comic Cade. So
yeah, yeah. Bearded, I'm DC for days.
Does anybody read Undone by Blood? Because you should.
No, but I listened to your breakdown on it. It sounded nuts.
Oh. Dude, it's so good. I actually just reread this issue. This is the second one of the second, like I guess like the second season, and it's really cool. It tells like these parallel stories. So you got like this cowboy that he ended up in Mexico, and so he's kind of like he can't get back across the border, so he kind of like rounded up with some like Mexican banditos, and they go and they do a train heist in this second issue, and it's all like an ends to a mean. Like he's in with the wrong crowd, but like he's looking for an ends to the means to an end, and so he gets in with the wrong crowd. So now he's kind of doing bad things, and he's always like kind of hesitant about it, and he's self-doubting, but he knows this is the only way he can make it back home, and so he's running with them. And then it parallels this story of this kid. I mean, he's probably like 19 or 20 or something, but he's still like a young kid in America, like in the 1920s, like 28, 29 or something like that. And he's doing, and his story is him and like this other guy, they're doing kind of like a safe heist kind of thing. But like, as they progress through their independent heists, like the stories kind of parallel in a lot of ways. And, like I think the theme of this one was there's always somebody where you least expect them. And both times they kind of get caught with their pants down and stuff. And it's just a really great version of storytelling. And they're both on a mission, and they're both like trying to accomplish something, and again, they're both looking for a means to an end, but they're going about it the wrong way. And it's a really great series. I've loved I really liked the first one. It kind of grew on me more and more over each issue. But this second series, like, it hit the ground running from number 1. So I'm really enjoying this one.
Bearded, I've heard Ryan's review on that. And I had to go change the laundry out. I'm working on getting my work clothes dry for a couple hours from now when I have to put them on. The kind of special. Yeah, that was a good guess about the cookie, but no. Chris, looks like you're the new host of Legion of Comics. Don't throw away your shot.
I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. Yep.
Yeah, eight away from 700 subscribers. So close. So close.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
All right. Now time for fair warning.
What?
Let's just say you're glitching out on us, Mark. Yep.
Am I back?
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound better.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I glitch out, y'all feel free to carry on without me.
All right. I'll go. Best episode yet. Fantastic storytelling. Fantastic storytelling. Great action. Love this. I love the slinging of the shield. I couldn't get enough of it, and they kept giving it to us over and over again. Again, just the heart to heart that Sam and Buck were having, talking about race. It was just fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I missed that one. It was again, I felt the best episode. I feel like we're miles and miles away from the first episode that Mark didn't like. But yeah, so
this corrected the first episode in a way.
Yeah.
I'll agree that this was definitely the best episode so far, because we're talking about a show, which that means we're talking about a story, which involves characters and developing characters and plot threads. They've introduced a lot of different plot threads. They haven't overloaded it. But what this episode did and did smoothly, it addressed all of those plot threads and it moved them heavily to a place where we can get one more episode and not have that feeling where, oh, it felt rushed, or oh, they forgot to talk about this, or oh, that. And even that stupid crap in the beginning with Falcon needing a loan, which, by the way, like, I feel like he got that loan in the opening sequence. He took that loan from John Walker. But that was amazing, that whole fight. Like, they beasted that dude. But how they even go back to his family.
Well, we've lost Mark. So I was going to say the one thing that I really enjoyed that I think Mark was going to touch on a little bit there was the sense of community as a Canadian that often looks in.
They just address it.
Dude, you've been gone so long. There we go. Thank you.
So the as a Canadian that's often in the United States and looks in on the United States, the one thing that came together for me in this episode was a sense of community when a family reached out for their neighbors to come in and help them in their desperate times and their desperate hours. To me, when I look at the United States, that's the one saving grace that's always seems to be there whenever something happens to the United States, and in particularly smaller communities or families that get hit by natural disasters and acts of people doing terrible things. Yeah, just the sense of community where people rally around each other to help with the hurt. And that's the one thing that I really appreciated about this episode was they really got that. They really grasped that sense of community and to see everyone come together and we had the interactions with Buck and Sam being a little sarcastic with each other but working on the engine, and Buck flirting with his sister and all that, trying to give us a little bit of that slight comedic uptick. But to me it was just fantastic storytelling right from top to bottom. Even when you threw in the whole Baron Zemo aspect with the Wakandans showing up and giving that slight little twist to that storyline as well. Again, like I said, as an outsider of the United States looking in, this is the one thing that I always see in newsreels where people come together. So it was nice to see that Marvel brought that into the Falcon Winter Soldier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was great the way that they kind of juxtaposed Falcon and Sam, and it was really cool the way the episode started with Falcon, and then you got all of this Sam and Bucky stuff, and then it ends with Captain America and Bucky and Winter Soldier. They very much move through all of those different personas and kind of compare and contrast them to each other. Whenever he's there fixing that boat, it don't matter that he's Falcon. That can't help him at all right now, And I thought it was just a really cool way for him to not just get back to his community and connect with people again, but I thought it was just a great way for him to kind of work through everything and process it all as he moved through it.
And it was good to see GSP return and give us a little parler français. So it was, yeah. See,
you called that. Yeah, you said after episode 1 he'll be back.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah. As soon as they called him and stuff, I was like, man, I can just see Chris's face right now.
Yeah, it's just like, yes, and he's speaking French, and
he was waving the Canadian flag. No one home but him.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, no, I was happy to see that we weren't just going to have a cameo of Batroc the Leaper, and I'm not just saying that the whole Canadian part. I've always liked Batroc the Leaper as a villain, so I'm glad that we had a cameo of him in the first Winter Soldier movie, and now that we had a cameo episode 1, I'm glad that we're going to get him in this and in the climax of the series as well, hopefully as a bad guy. And like I said, the rumor is that we're going to see him again in Shang-Chi when that movie gets released as well.
So
yeah, I just like GSP.
Yeah.
Speaking on villains and stuff though, how about that scene with Bucky and Zemo?
Yeah.
That
was when he went to get the final confrontation.
Yeah, whenever he gets arrested.
That was awesome. Where he put the gun up to him and everything.
Yeah.
Quick.
Zemo's the coolest villain that Marvel's introduced in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was
the
some
ultimate
fantastic acting. Fantastic
that's
acting.
the ultimate little spit in his face that I'm not who you think I am anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what you expect, and this is what you don't expect.
Right.
Yeah. Between that and just the fact that Zemo was in a place to go with them, I mean, I guess in a way, there was nothing he could really do anyway. We've already seen that, but he was very compliant, and I thought that was a pretty good little character arc that he got through his time on the show, because at the beginning he's very resilient to pretty much anything they want, and I think by the end there, he's at least accepting that, things need to change.
Now, I think that he was standing there because he wanted the ride to where he's going.
Could be.
That dude, he's a step ahead of them in everything he's doing. He wouldn't just willingly stand where they could come find. He knows exactly. And here's how you know it is because they're not taking him to Wakanda. They said they're taking him to the raft. The little prison, the end of Civil War where Cap went and broke everyone out from.
Right.
Thunderbolt Ross runs the raft. We're supposed to be getting Thunderbolts. We get Val introduced, who's like the shady shield lady and ex-girlfriend of Nick Fury and Madam Hydra, this and that. And I can just picture Thunderbolt Ross and her talking about getting their own little team together and dabbling in super soldier serum because that's what Thunderbolt Ross wants. And it just there's a lot of puzzle pieces that look like they can easily go together. And
we could get John. I was to say we could get John Walker in that.
Now, Chris, you did watch after the credits, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we know that we're about to get U.S. Agent in the final episode. Yep. We've had John Walker as Captain America, and his inevitable evolution is he loses the shield and he loses his credibility, and he U.S. agents it because the government will never do away with the potential asset. They'll just change the banner in which he operates under. Enter Val.
I got to admit, man, they did him dirty. He's not even going to get a pension. They built up the character.
John Walker needs a loan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they did him dirty. Yeah.
I really like that scene because he literally says you made me. I am Captain America. As they are completely dismissing him, and all he wants to do is be heard. It's like so reminiscent of just like the idea of being a GI in Vietnam or even World War One and Two. You know, they come back from war and society turns their back on them, and it just seemed like that's exactly what he was saying. Is like, I am Captain America. You made me, and now you won't even let me speak. Like, you won't even hear me, and that's all I want is to be heard. So that was a very powerful speech he gave there. I'll say I've liked John Walker the whole time, because of how well Wyatt Russell plays him. Of course,
yes,
so
Wyatt
amazingly,
Russell, was fantastic.
Yeah. But
All
like,
the
even
small
as a
nuances,
character,
everything.
even as a character, I've really enjoyed the way that he gives us new perspective on Captain America himself. Like, it's really hard to understand how difficult it would be to carry that mantle until you see somebody fail at it. And John Walker fails spectacularly enough that it really drives that point home just, so perfect, you know?
Yeah, we finally got to that point where, Sam has a specific set of skills too to work with combat vets with PTSD. And we talked about that after episode 1. And it was awesome that we finally got to that moment that their like love hate for each other finally got them to a moment of comfort where Sam felt that he was in a position he can finally tell Bucky that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. And he basically 12 steps him in the front yard, and like the road to recovery is this. Is you're trying over here, but this is
You're
where
trying
it's
to
at.
fix yourself, but you need to make them feel better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're trying to make yourself feel good, but you need to make them feel good.
It's not about you. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was and the moment where John Walker goes and speaks to Battlestar's parents as well.
Oh wow, yeah. He didn't get the response he was looking for.
But yeah, it was again like Wyatt Russell has opened my eyes to his ability. Like yeah, he's
that
not
dude's got jobs lined up after this, I guarantee.
Yeah, I do hope if they give us some sort of like the Marvel Suicide Squad type, like if we get the Thunderbolts, I hope that they bring in the U.S. agent to throw them on that team.
Yeah.
Just because of the performance he's given us.
Yeah. I also really like the scene that really hit me the hardest, I think, was probably whenever Sam talks to Isaiah. That was powerful stuff,
when he tried again to give away the shield, yet again, because he didn't learn his lesson the first time. Luckily, Isaiah don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And what was the line Isaiah said? No self-respecting black man would ever pick up that shield or something like that. And it's just you could tell that Sam's experience in life dealing with the shield and dealing with Steve carrying it, he has a different perspective than what Isaiah went through, even though it was tragic and heartbreaking to hear his story. It's just two different paths, two different men, two different generations, even though both generations still are incredibly similar, let's be honest, right? But again, that's why I said the storytelling in this episode was incredible.
It was.
Yeah, I love this one. I thought it was such a good episode.
Can we all agree that Agent 13 is going to be the bad guy, unfortunately?
I think so. I think she's the power broker. I think that's going to be like a minor twist that everyone sees coming kind of thing.
Yeah. It's going to be so it's Agent 13. But I just want to see if she's working hand in hand with Batroc the Leaper, like how close that relationship is, or anyways, it's going to be interesting. Does anyone know what the runtime on the final episodes is supposed to be? Is it going to be an hour or whatever?
I don't know. They've been consistent, and they haven't had, like, Mandalorian wasn't any longer. Wanda wasn't really.
Right.
Wanda was all over the place. Like, some episodes were 20 minutes, some episodes were 21 minutes, some episodes were 21 and a half minutes, and then one was like 40 minutes or something.
Right.
It was weird. Like, and even though this is only 6 episodes, there's more content in these 6 episodes, like runtime in these 6 episodes than there are in runtime of Wanda.
Yeah, this is far more cinematic.
This is so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I didn't care for it that much this week.
Yeah,
I'll be
same
honest.
here. Same
I
here.
didn't care for much.
Nothing
Again,
memorable about it for me.
it's the kid getting his rear end handed to him. You know, after last week, you know, I thought we were going to have an episode of basically Mark down and out. Now, I get we kind of had an episode of Mark down and out, but that's because of his personal life.
I'm sitting here trying to remember what this episode was about. He went to the
me
college
too. I'm
campus.
I
tour.
remember.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Okay,
They
the
went to the college campus.
reoccurring villain with the Cyclops eye. We see that it's this a genius college campus kid who's tinkering with other students, and he just keeps. It's not the same reoccurring guy. It's just a different upgrade every time. So he's basically the bad guy from The Incredibles with his little mechanical stuff, upgrading him to fight superheroes, and nobody really cares.
The one part I didn't like about that is like, how are these guys holding their own with Mark? Like, and again, Mark had the opportunity, grab him, and just goodbye.
I think that didn't they play him out to kind of still be like still not being tip top after getting murdered by Battle Beast last episode.
Yeah, he was still kind of down and
out.
Yeah, but I thought for me,
and he's also always his inexperience is kind of in his way a lot.
Right. I thought the best part of the storyline, the arc, was the mom and the dad, and the mom finally like putting two and two together with the tailor, and then all right, I guess we're gonna find out next week because they had their big confrontation at the end there. And it's a weird relationship the robot has with that young girl, Beast Girl, or I'm not sure the character's name.
Yeah, Beast
Girl.
Girl.
Right. That's a
I wonder why he does have that close
there.
connection to her. I wonder.
Yeah.
Again, I have no comic book experience on it. I read like the first trade a decade ago and remember nothing about it.
Yep.
And I know we're past that at this point, anyways. But I wonder if it has anything to do with he's hoping that because he's working with everybody on trying to figure out how to kill Omni-Man. Not necessarily go out to kill him, but to have a deterrent or a contingency plan for him. We learned that in the last episode that's going on with the blood samples and all that. Maybe something about her might be in play with that he needs her. I think he's been studying her physiology extensively and everything. And
do you want to know or just keep going?
No,
I do not want to know.
No, the Invincible spoilers are only for the up to this episode. Not that it's not beyond.
Like I don't know. I haven't read it, but I have heard like at least in the comic what his motivation is for all of that, the stuff with Beast Girl.
I do not want to know whatsoever.
But
yeah, this episode was just pretty forgettable, except for me. They're slowly moving the plot forward with Nolan's wife on the mystery hunt to see why he did what he did, why he murdered them. She's now convinced and she knows that he killed the Justice League. Yeah, there's the name. Monster Girl is the name of the girl.
Right, Monster Girl.
And so she knows that he did do it, and she went and talked to the tailor and got confirmation. And of course, he was listening in the whole time. And then that conversation when he was hanging out on the roof drinking beers with the tailor, just talking about how time flies, and eventually it's ran out. And the way that like they do the imagery for this, it's just an animated film or animated show, but they're making sure to like frame shots perfectly to like with so much symbolism and everything in it. When as soon as he says time's running out is when the tailor tips up the bottle and realizes it's empty.
There's nothing left. Yeah.
Nothing left. And then Nolan hands him another one. And the way he positions the bottle, the bottle top is covering the tailor's head. And he just flicks the top off and exposes the tailor's head like that's all it'll take and you're done. Like so it was really cool and just seeing that how tense that moment was. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
I took that moment like, okay, yeah, I can flick your head off, but just know I'm holding your life in my hand at any moment and I can just flick it away. But the part that I enjoyed the most was basically the last couple minutes where Mark's mother confronted the father saying why war woman and listed the Guardians' names and just why and then he was just like, oh, you're drunk, you've been drinking, and she's like, I am not drunk.
Yeah.
So
overall I think it was a
stopgap.
This was a filler issue.
Episode. Yeah. But again, it's a fantastic show. Last week I was still,
Mhm.
as I was watching this episode, I remember, just a mouth open, while Invincible was taking those body blows and getting opened up, and like, are they really, are they really doing this to the character? And then this week he was just back on his feet really quick. So I was just like, all
So, and
right,
then I do
so
feel like they kind of pulled their punches a little bit because in that last episode we had Monster Girl get pretty much murdered. We had uh, what's his name, Black Goliath or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
everybody.
We had him, Black Samson. We had him get murdered pretty
Oh yeah,
much.
Samson.
We
That's what
had
it was.
Invincible get murdered pretty much. And then in this episode, right off the bat, like, all right, let's save all the characters real quick. Let's keep them all, keep everybody. I'm
now
like, come on,
did
man.
everyone survive? Like
Yeah,
the
everyone
girl that
survived.
duplicated,
Yeah, did
I thought
Duplicate Girl survive?
I,
I
I
didn't
thought
think
she
so.
got wiped out, and
Tyler, did the duplicate girl survive?
the
None of us
the
remember.
smart mouth guy that had the
Rex
group
Splode is
thing.
like a cockroach.
Yeah, the dude that was like a little bit of the Gambit ripoff there.
Yeah, Rex Splode.
Yeah.
He's like a
Yeah.
I
cockroach. He
thought
survives everything somehow.
okay.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, I'm sure all of that stuff is significant in the development of where the characters need to be for the end of the season, but it was a lot of fluff and there I mean, like you said, like the conversation with the Taylor, like there's some really good key moments in there, but
oh
overall
yes.
this was probably the weakest episode out of the bunch.
Right. But it was still good. So when we're only comparing it to, the excellence that it's been so far.
I know
So
they've been hitting like 9.8s straight,
yeah,
and we're like, oh man, what am I gonna do with a
it's
9.6? Who wants that?
exactly. I got 9.4. But yeah, again, it was enjoyable, but I kind of thought like dealing with the one-eyed Cyclops monsters and the army that he was dealing with, like, dude, like you kind of did it before. Just take them and just woof, see you later, and
Yeah.
this. I don't know why you're getting your rear end handed to you here, left, right, and center by all these things, but
It was
the
cool. That
Duplicate,
dude
that's
like
her name.
get
yeah,
his
She's good
helmet
and
come off
alive.
and just kill himself.
yeah,
I
yeah,
will say though, like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and like these shows are completely uncomparable. You can't possibly compare them in any significant way. But since Invincible and Winter Soldier are dropping the same week every week, like there is some sense of connection there. And so I think it was like 2 weeks ago, like Invincible had like an amazing episode, and Winter Soldier I was like, I wonder how much of that I didn't care quite as much about Winter Soldier because of how good Invincible was.
right.
And then you look at this week, and this was by far the most fantastic Winter Soldier episode we've
Oh
gotten
yeah,
so far.
yeah.
And it makes me wonder how much it might have affected our enjoyment of, or at least our satisfaction with this week's Invincible,
Yeah, their series are just at two different places, and it showed this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100% correct, Mark. They're just two different places right now. So
Which
with
is
that
really
said,
cool to see, because you can see how two different types of storytelling play out in two very different ways,
the next Marvel series hitting Disney Plus is Loki, right? What's the release
Yeah,
date on that? Do either of you know?
I
Is it
Like
don't.
May or
June?
June or something. I think
Okay.
it's
And
June.
around
I know it's like
around
a
June
summer.
around June or July is when we're getting the Black Widow movie eventually as well too. If you want to
Right.
pay 4 months worth of your Disney Plus subscription to watch Black Widow on your
On
existing
top of
Disney
that
Plus.
months.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Did they
Yeah.
release the amount? Like I thought it was going to be $25 or $30
It's
or
30.
something.
All of them have been $30 so far. For
Yep.
Mulan was 30 and Raya was 30, and I think this is going to be the third one that they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really expected to see some changes in that model with Raya. And since they didn't change it at all, it tells me one, they're happy with whatever they did on Mulan that way. And especially since all of the rest of them are also going to be released in theaters. But also I was like, well, I'm sure they're going to drop the price. There's no way that many people paid $30 to watch a movie 30 days early or 90 days early, but apparently they did. So they still charged $30 for Raya too. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
all right, I see you.
Joe
I'll
says,
just
just
wait
like a
90
comic
days.
issue has to set up drama, this episode just set up drama. Can you be a hero and a lover and have a life? If you're Mark from Invincible, no, you can't. If you're Omni
But if you're
Man,
Mark from Legion of Comics,
You sure can. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this was all just like set up for what after this. There's only what 2 or 3 episodes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I have no
I think
idea
it's like
how
an 8
long the
or 9
season's supposed to
episode
be.
season, right?
Yeah. I
Or-
hope they're at the drawing board right now for season 2. It's
Oh,
I'm
no
gonna
doubt they
miss it when
are.
I'm gonna miss it when it's gone, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I know the circles
but
that we run in, everyone's watching it and talking about it, but do
Yeah.
y'all know how well it's done beyond just like the specific comic book community of people that are kind of guaranteed viewers?
I don't know. I had a friend stop by like last weekend, and he's not really into comic books, and I was like telling him about it. I'm like, dude, you got to check this out. Like, you'll really dig it, you know. And so I need to check in with him and see if he ever actually watched it and what he thought.
What do you
Because
guys
yeah, I
have
really
going
don't know
on
what the
your?
general public is doing about it.
Well, at this point, it's 11:30, so we're about to be heading out of here. But what do you guys got coming up tomorrow on your channels?
I have. Let's see. Tomorrow I'm going to have a blog post. On Tuesday I'll have another conversation. Today I had a unboxing drop, which was really like the end of a live stream. But since only like 5 people watched that, I'm pretty sure it's new to everyone else. um, and I'm at 180 something subscribers.
Ooh wee!
So I'll be putting together a video this week with some more comics I'm gonna give away and continue that push for 200. So things are
Very
going
nice.
smooth.
Very nice. I'm trending in the wrong direction with my subscribers. I'm losing them. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or if those porn bots that followed me in my infancy have now expired, and that's the end of that.
You said porn bots.
But
He just put an OnlyFans logo in the corner of every video.
I yesterday I released a video where I speak about issue 181. I invite everyone to check it out to see, in particular, what issue 181 I'm speaking about.
You were very
Go ahead.
cheeky.
Yeah, and today Mark and I collaborated on Two Cool Guys, Two Hot Picks, and that was released on my channel. And I know most people refer to that show as just Two Hot Guys, but anyways, tomorrow I have Mystery Box Monday, and Wednesday maybe I'll have a new comic book day haul video. We'll see what the
Dude,
government
that
allows.
181 video. So
Was
Yeah.
good.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a labor of
That was
love.
really cool.
Yeah.
There was one scene where I did one thing and then something like this, and I thought immediately, oh, Mark's totally saying he's flexing again.
Yeah, I was about to say right now, you definitely ripped your shirt in that video. I left you a comment that intro though. So if you guys, we do have still have 10 people in the chat. If you guys have not already subbed up to new guy Ryan over there, he's less than 20 away from hitting that 200 subscriber mark. So go ahead and give him a subscribe. As well as we got the comic vet over here whose porn bots expired, so he needs your help.
Yeah, I think I was at 260, and in the span of like 24 hours, I dropped down to like 257. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Oh,
I...
nice.
Dude, that-
I'm closing that gap.
that happens to me like often, where it'll
Yeah.
just drop between like 2 and 5 subs in like the blink
Yeah.
of an eye. But
Yeah.
they tend to those when you drop like that, they tend to like you kind of will get a little bump in the next day or two, about the same amount that you lost all at once. Also, it's weird. And I'll know where I'll be talking to people like directly, having like long conversations with them, and they're like, "Yeah, I just subbed up your channel," and I'll look at my channel and nothing has moved or changed. And then within 24 hours, then like it's not always automatic on my end for some reason.
Right. But yeah,
It's really weird.
it's still fun. Like, I thoroughly enjoy talking with you guys weekly, and I thoroughly enjoy putting videos and out there, and as fun as what it is, it's even more enjoyable to read the comments. So that's me.
You know what I forgot to mention?
What's that?
My favorite joke in this week's Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Whenever he goes to fix the engine and Bucky comes by to help him and he like grabs it, he's like, "Oh, I thought you would have used the arm." He's like, "Oh, yeah. I don't usually think about it.
I'm a righty.
Right-handed."
I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that got me. I was like, "That's pretty good."
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I was like
That
the
and
Well,
the
tomorrow,
other thing that I thought was weird was like the scene with Bucky and Sam. They're like throwing the shield and talking, right? And Sam's like
it's like they're
catching it
playing
and stuff, isn't he?
yeah, and then later he's like
Yeah, and then he goes to train
well,
and it's like he can't catch it for nothing. I was like,
not
that's a
to
little
the
bit
dynamic
weird.
he was training. Like they were tossing the frisbee around, and then Sam
yeah,
was
it's like
Yeah,
throwing the ball around.
training after that. He was
Yeah.
trying to push
true,
himself at
true.
that point.
It was just like a very weird thing visually, you know.
Yeah.
I
So
just don't get how they're
tomorrow
doing
on
it
my channel, I
barehanded.
do want to point out that I do have a video dropping at 7 a.m. like I do every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so people can wake up to content. But it's going to be a Jack Kirby Care package. I got a
Ooh.
special edition Kirby Care package, and there's some really, really amazing stuff in there.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it was awesome. I opened it today. I've had it for like 2 weeks. I don't know how I haven't opened it until today, but first time I opened it. So be sure to check that out.
I was going to say you are a stronger man than I am. There's no way that'd be sitting in my place for 2 weeks and not be open.
It's been like sitting right here next to me, like an arm and eye reach, and I just keep putting other packages on top of it and opening them first. So I'd ordered, what it was is I'd ordered 2 of them, and they shared a shipping number, the order did, and one of them showed up, so I had to reach out to Jeremy, and I was talking to, I was actually talking to Jack's grandson and getting it straightened out until I had got the tracking and knew the other one's about to pull up. I didn't, and I wanted to open the other one first, really, because this was a special edition one. The other one's a standard one. But today was the day I couldn't wait anymore. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
I appreciate everyone coming by and hanging out with us and chatting with us. And yeah, sub up these guys if y'all haven't already. And if you're just catching this right now, be sure to hit the rewind. We had a blast. And thank you both for hanging out with me. And until next time, as always, guys, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.